runner, you could do that.
I hate running, but I do it at this point in my life because I feel like I need to stay healthy somehow. Because I spend too much time doing stuff like this, sitting at bars with my laptop.
It'll be good. The best thing about Pat is, even though this is a work event for you, this is not unusual to see you out in the wild with your laptop open, because I'm pretty sure 95% of the stories that you do are written at a bar.
Well, or at least partially written at a bar. I do work at home during the day, unless there's reason to go to the bar, like
soccer,
or time to drink. I don't know, whatever it is.
Olympics, whatever's on.
Yeah. So, yes, this does happen quite a bit.
Absolutely, man. We got a great show lined up for you here this evening. Pat, we're going to get into a story that you wrote, Ohio State getting some nice little accolades over some of the best players in the Big Ten, what that looks like for Ohio State this season, how many are on that list, and also to a sleeper pick for a potential breakout candidate for the Buckeyes. 6:30. We did this with Austin last night. Your biggest camp storylines. We are in July. We are just a few weeks away from Buckeye camp, rolling along here. We'll get to that at 6:30. 6:48, 6:46-ish. We got some flag football to talk about the Olympics in Los Angeles, which is very exciting. We'll do the Pulse with Cam at 7 o'clock, and then we'll look at position battles for Ohio State camp in the 7 o'clock hour. But wanted to get started this evening just by a story that you were writing today, Pat. And I didn't even know that this was a thing. You wrote this week, ESPN announced the nominations for the 2025 ESPYs, which recognize the best team and individual athletic achievements of the previous year. And Ohio State is actually nominated for the best team category in the Olympics. I mean, talk about a pretty cool feeling and getting to go out wherever they have the ESPYs. That would be a pretty nice little tip of the cap to what was a wonderful end of the season.
For sure. You've celebrated quite a bit. Guys have kind of moved on, and a lot of those guys are in the NFL. But, this would be one last opportunity to at least, even if you can't get everybody back together, which I imagine would be difficult to do. I don't know if Ohio State will send somebody out to the ESPYs. I imagine they would if they think they can win. But, look, first 12-team playoff. I believe they were up for it in 2014 when they won the first 14 playoff. I imagine the national champion in college football is often in this category.
I was reading through the list of these teams, and it's just everybody who won a championship.
Right.
Like, it was the Dodgers, it was the Eagles, it was Carolina and lacrosse.
Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yeah, United States women's national team. Like, everyone who wins the title gets nominated for this, but it's still better to be nominated for it than it is not, right?
Right. I mean, you worked hard to win that national championship, and you should continue to benefit from that. Will they win? I don't know. These are, as you mentioned, these are a lot of really good teams. Everybody is a champion on this list, so I think it's just a neat thing to even be nominated. I looked at least as far back as I could find. The last one that I noticed was Chase Young was up for, I think, like best male athlete the year that he had
last season here at Ohio State.
So it's been a while. I don't think he won that year, but look. I think the ESPYs are an interesting thing. I don't know how many people out there watch the ESPYs every year. But
I dive in a little bit.
Sure.
I'll jump into it. I'm not sitting down for 3 hours and watching the ESPYs, but if there's nothing on, I'll pop and weave, and between that and Andrew Zimmern's Wild Game Kitchen, I'll see what's happening.
Yeah, and so the ability to be a part of these teams, I think is awesome. And again, another chance to celebrate what this team accomplished. And as a Buckeye fan, I imagine you want as many times as possible to
have that recognition.
Yeah, and just remind everybody, right? Like, you know it as a Buckeye fan. You probably wake up every morning feeling great about things.
This is nice.
Yeah. So, but this is, again, you'll be brought up. Everyone will talk about it for a few minutes on ESPN, whether you win or not. And I think the ESPYs is an interesting idea. It's almost like one of the movie or music award shows.
Oscars, Emmys.
Exactly. So to do it for the sports world, I think was a good idea by ESPN. Again, I don't know how many people tune in, but I think it's awesome to be a part of it.
Yeah, absolutely it is. So a nice little honor there for Ohio State, capping off before we turn into what is hopefully a very exciting season of Buckeye football. While we're on the topic of the playoff run and the national championship, you went to all these games.
I did.
You were at Ohio Stadium the last weekend in November when they lost to Michigan. You were at the Horseshoe for Tennessee. And then you went to the Rose Bowl out in Pasadena. And then you went down to Dallas and the weather fiasco in the Cotton Bowl against Texas. Then you were at the national championship game against Notre Dame down in Atlanta. Did you have a moment that stuck out to you? I mean, you were East Coast, West Coast, all over the place. Just like a favorite moment from that championship run, whether that's the team or whether that was just you personally?
I think, first of all, it was awesome to be able to do that. And, like, thankful to have a job that allows me to go to all those. It was also exhausting. Just, I don't know how somebody who covers a Super Bowl run or, like, the NBA playoffs.
What about the players?
Yeah, well, that I can't even grasp that. But at least they're flying, like, pretty
They've
nice.
got charters and buses and nice hotels.
Yeah, before we left for the national championship, I remember telling my fiance Sarah, just like, my God, this has been a lot.
Yeah.
And like, this could be a thing that happens a lot.
It was a full month.
Yeah. And, but I think the two that really stand out to me are the Tennessee game and not just a moment, but like how that all happened, given everything that happened before then. And I think everyone who was there, even people watching on TV, would probably say that.
Well, wasn't it like, because going into that game, and Austin and I have talked about it a lot, and Bids was doing a show with me a couple of weeks ago. I mean, those 3 weeks between that game it was as intense as it's ever been surrounding the football team around Ohio State. And then whether you were at the stadium or you were watching from home or wherever you were watching at, that first drive, like, boom, set the tone offensively, defensively. Yeah. And it was almost like this great exhale from Buckeye Nation. Now, the game wasn't over at that point. The game ended up being what the game was at the end. But it was like, okay, now you got through the hard part. Like, you got through because you didn't know what team was going to show up on that Saturday night in Columbus. And you got through the hard part. You won the first game. And then it was like, all right, now you can do it. Now you got some momentum.
Well, not only one, but the way that they did it, right? And I think that set the tone, and I remember talking to a couple of players about it afterwards, just setting the tone for what they want to do. They knew that they were one of the best teams in the country. Yeah, you had to figure some things out after Oregon, after Michigan, but they were so motivated to go out. And look, if you asked those guys beforehand, got them, truth serum, did they think it was going to turn out that way? I don't know how many of them did. I think they believed they'd win and, go on and make a run.
Not the way that it was.
Exactly.
I mean, it was as dominant as you'll see a stretch in college football.
Right. And then the other thing that stands out to me, well, obviously being on the field after they win the national championship, I had not covered in person a national championship before just because of circumstances.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. But I will say the semifinal, when you beat Texas, I was on the field for Jack Sawyer's scoop and score, and like the mayhem that was. But the way that the coaches, especially, I was kind of off to the side of the stage as they're setting up at the Cotton Bowl. The way that the coaches were celebrating, like James Laurinaitis hugging Jim Knowles, Larry Johnson and his family grabbing some of the assistant to the assistants, and just like. I was just happened to be in the middle of all of that, and that will always stand out. They hadn't won the national championship yet. Obviously, there was still room to go.
They were second and goal from the 2 away from Texas tying that game, and then Lathan and Caleb shot the gap there. You got a big stop on 3rd down, and then the rest is history.
Right, and I think the way that happened made it even more. Like, if they had just blown Texas out the way they did some of the other ones, maybe you don't have as much emotion. You'll still have plenty of emotion. You're going to the national championship game. But being in that was something that not a lot of people got to experience, and that was pretty good, pretty awesome.
It was pretty cool. I think I just go back to just the Tennessee game and what that was and the vitriol around the fandom. And I think we talked about before, if you could rewatch just one game of the playoff run, like what would you do? And I think I would just go back to that Tennessee game and the atmosphere and electricity of Neyland North, and the Tennessee fans are going to take it over. And then at the end of the night, you get the SEC chants ringing around the horseshoe, as it should have been. But that game, I think, just set the tone for the entire thing.
Yes, absolutely. And then you go out to the Rose Bowl, and I love the Rose Bowl. Like, if I could watch sports at one venue. Now, I've heard, and we'll see what it's like when Ohio State plays out there for UCLA, and I get a very different experience of the Rose Bowl. But at least for the Rose Bowl game, I love it. I love every time I've ever been there. And
you and Austin cannot be so different on that.
Austin and I have talked about this many times. There's a lot. If you were ever out and it's Austin and I, we could do a whole show on debating the bowl games.
Austin, if you're out there, listen, just come on down to Yogi's.
Yeah, there we go.
Get yourself some $3 Coors Light drafts, and let's just do the full debate on that.
Right. But then the way that it all played out, and the way that they started that game too, because look, you could have blown out Tennessee and then come out against an Oregon team that was really good, already beat you that season, and maybe won the game, but maybe not been as dominant. It doesn't look the same. And instead, they, again, set the tone early. You know, that pass to G. Scott, drive right down.
Yep.
And it's was like, okay, this team is really rolling. It wasn't just one game motivated off of the Michigan loss.
No, it wasn't. Everything. I feel like every game you could pick two and you wouldn't have a wrong answer. We're hanging out at Yogi's in Grandview again. We got $3 Coors Light draft started at 6 o'clock. We'll run till 8 o'clock tonight. How many players did the Buckeyes have in the preseason top 25 in the Big Ten? We're going to get into that coming up next. It's the Buckeye Show on The Fan.
If you miss a live show, you can catch the podcast. If you miss the podcast, our hosts have volunteered to have dinner with you.
Ma, the meatloaf!
The Fan.
The outdoor drama Tecumseh is back this summer. The drama, the history, and the spectacle make Tecumseh one of Ohio's most beloved traditions. Tecumseh has provided thrilling live entertainment for 50 years, and the outdoor theater at Sugarloaf Mountain will provide a safe and memorable experience for your entire family. Get tickets now at tecumsehdrama.com. This message is made possible in part by the Ohio Arts Council. Tecumseh, experience the drama.
Summer is in full swing. If you think you're hot, well, so are your trees. You can help your trees by watering them, especially if they're newly planted. During the hot, dry summer months, your trees could use a water boost. Watering new trees a few times a week will help them survive while they're developing their root system, so don't forget about them. To find out more about watering trees or to find a certified arborist near you, go to treesforohio.org. That's trees, the number 4, ohio.org.
Experience Buckeye game day like never before. Welcome to the 1922 Club, the most exclusive space inside Ohio Stadium, where luxury meets tradition in the heart of Buckeye Nation. Enjoy upscale food and beverages and a game day atmosphere like no other. Create lasting memories with friends and mingling with other Buckeye fans, and celebrate every OHIO in ultimate comfort. Become a member of the 1922 Club today. Memberships are limited. Visit OhioStateBuckeyes.com.
Hi, I'm Archie Griffin, two-time Heisman Trophy winner. The right coverage can be a game changer, both on and off the field. That's why Encova Insurance is prepared for what's next and protects what matters most to you. With independent insurance agents in your neighborhood and innovative insurance products that can be tailored to fit your unique needs, Encova Insurance is an easy win for your peace of mind. For auto, home, and business insurance, you want Encova on your team. Visit Encova.com today to find an agent near you.
At Kroger, an annual Boost membership is better than ever. Save up to $1,100 each year on gas, groceries, delivery fees, and streaming options. With double fuel points, unlimited free delivery, and exclusive savings for members, there's so much to love about Boost. Sign up for a Boost membership today. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Restrictions apply. See site for details.
It's game day at Raising Cane's. If you want to order like a Buckeye, it's the action off the field you need to focus on. The only play you're running is chicken. So what combo are you picking? Make it a perfect season. We've got tailgates of hand-battered, cooked-to-order chicken fingers and cane sauce. And jugs of freshly made tea and lemonade. All available to order online or on our app. This season is about to be unbeatable. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love. Proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
This promo is for anyone who likes baseball or America or Terry Francona's scooter. The Reds are on the Fan. Catch all 162 games here on the Fan and 1460 ESPN Columbus and the Fan's HD2. Your home for Reds baseball, the Fan.
Come on over to Heartland and join our family.
Now, community banking is the lifeblood of the American financial system, building strong, lasting relationships. We're just better able to help guide you down life's road. Flexibility is paramount to success. Community banking is alive and well in the Heartland. I'm Scott McComb. Come on over to Heartland, where banking really feels good.
Where banking feels good.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hello, I'm Ross Bjork, Senior Vice President and Eugene Smith Wolf Foundation Endowed Athletics Director at The Ohio State University. In partnership with AEP, Donato's, Kroger, The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center, Huntington, and 10 TV, Ohio State Athletics strives to inspire the community to make a positive impact on children and families in our great state through the Buckeyes Care Initiative. Show and share your support in the community by using the hashtag BuckeyesCare.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Hey there, Central Ohio. I'm 10 Weather Impact meteorologist Michael Behrens. Your latest forecast. Scattered shower and storm chances continue into this evening before eventually fading out. Temperature drops to around the 70s overnight. Will be mostly dry Friday, mostly sunny, hot and humid, high near 90. Pop-up chance can't be ruled out in the afternoon. Those chances pick back up this weekend with more 90-degree heat through Sunday. That's your latest 10 Weather Impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Michael Behrens on 97.1 The Fan.
We're very close to Buckeye football. Very close. Uncomfortably close. You're listening to The Buckeye Show.
Got our guy Patrick Murphy with us tonight on The Buckeye Show, doing it live from Yogi's in Grandview. Again, $3 Coors Light drafts from 6 to 8. I just noticed I was hopping on the YouTube chat. Thanks for everybody for watching YouTube as well. Craig says, is it safe to sit in front of the dartboards? I don't know. I didn't actually know that. I didn't see those behind us. Maybe if we don't perform up to the standards, that the rowdy crowd here at Yogi's is going to start chucking darts at us.
Now I'm nervous.
You'll be fine.
I also did not notice that until right now. So we better say good things, I guess.
Yes, we better be good thing sayers. I would like to think that we are for most of the time, but hey, who knows? I was reading this today, Pat, and I know that you're obviously a big college football guy. In what regard do you hold Phil Steele's Bible that he puts out basically every year?
Yeah, I usually get it. I haven't bought this year's yet, but I think it's one of the best out there if you want like detailed information on all of these teams, right?
If you're a college football sicko, and like you're watching Saturday night Pac-8 games, or you're watching middle of the day like Arkansas State, Phil Steele's magazine is the thing for you.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to know about what's happening at Western Michigan going into the season, which
PJ
is really,
Fleck used to coach at Western Michigan, by the way.
Which is really nice, like when I'm looking ahead to, obviously this year Buckeyes start with Texas, but a lot of years they open with teams, I'm like, I don't, let's flip this open and you know, read what
like
Phil
you got
Steele
Grambling on the schedule this year. I don't know a whole lot about Grambling.
No, not at all, and especially for week 1, but even those week 2, week 3 games, it is very helpful. And if you just, there's just so much information that he puts in there. It's quite the undertaking from my understanding.
Yeah, it is. We've got the chance to talk to him for the last couple of years, and he actually starts it in January, and then it goes to post, and then you got to get it edited and all kinds of crazy different things. But I can't imagine how much Phil Steele's job has changed in the recent years with the transfer portal.
Oh, yeah.
And actually keeping track of the players and the movement, because he's got every roster and every transfer that has happened at the Division I level of college football.
Well, it's going to get crazier if they let guys transfer in, July? There's going to be this window for...
I think it already opened, didn't it? It was a one-time window. The way that I read it was basically for, like, walk-ons.
Right. Yes, but since you don't call them walk-ons anymore, I mean, they're all part of the roster, I assume they will be included in Phil Steele's breakdown. So... that's tough. He's going to have to, send out edits to people who bought the magazine.
Imagine how many tabs he has open on his computer. I'm looking at yours right now, and it's kind of giving me the heebie-jeebies, but I've only got, 7 or 8 open.
There's
you have,
way too many.
15 or 20.
Yeah, and I have another whole window here that has more, and I don't like it, but I all of them are there for a reason.
So we talked about the Manny Navarro article that came out chronicling Jeremiah Smith. He actually put another one together. He's a great writer for The Athletic. Top 25 players in the Big Ten entering the 2025 college football season. 4 Buckeyes appeared on the list. Can you guess who number 1 and number 2 are, Patrick?
Well, I have it pulled up here.
Okay.
But
you're cheating. Then.
Had you asked me that without having pulled it up, and one of them's on the screen here over at Yogi's.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, wow, it's the Jeremiah Smith show, apparently. They're just showing catches of his. Yes, it is Jeremiah Smith, who was the top-rated player in college football 26, which just came out today officially, followed by Caleb Downs, who was the number 2 player in that game. So it makes a lot of sense that those two things link up.
It does. Here's what Manny Navarro wrote about Jeremiah Smith, and you've wrote about Jeremiah Smith and Caleb Downs a lot of times over the course of the last year and change since he's been on campus. It's hard not to start with the list with the highest-rated player in the EA Sports college football video game. Smith topped the top-ranked recruit in the class of 24 caught 76 passes for 1,315 yards, 15 touchdowns, en route to earning first-team All-America honors, winning a national title as a freshman. It's scary to think that 6'3", 225-pound South Florida native turned 19 last November and is just getting started. Again, I feel like we've talked about Jeremiah Smith so many times over the course of the last few months, but it really is hard to fathom what he did here. You don't see true freshmen come to Ohio State and do that.
No. And you talked to me a year ago, I was saying that I didn't buy the hype completely. I realized he was really good.
And then you watched him the first game, and you're like, all right.
It didn't even take that long. It was in fall camp. I saw some of the stuff in spring practice, and I was like, okay. But they've had a lot of really good receivers. Garrett Wilson could have walked in and started at almost every program in the country. I was wrong. I'm fully willing to admit that Jeremiah Smith is just another level, and it is insane on the stuff that he's been able to do.
Caleb Downs comes in at number 2. Here's what Mandy Navarro wrote about him in the article on The Athletic. Few would argue the defending champions have the best returning offensive and defensive players in the league. Downs, who started as a freshman at Alabama before transferring to Ohio State, tallied 82 tackles, 7.5 TFLs, 6 PBUs, and 2 interceptions. Also scored on a punt return against Indiana, which was critical in that game. The Athletic's Dane Brugler projects Downs to be a top 10 pick in next year's draft. Yeah, I was also reading a mock draft from Matt Miller. I think he had him going number 5 to the Saints, but there was a caveat in big asterisk that said, Caleb Downs is the number 1 player in this draft. I'm just doing this on team needs.
Right. And that's the thing with drafts, right? It's not always the top player that gets taken number 1. It's likely that there will be a quarterback that rises, be it Arch Manning or somebody else,
sure.
Drew Aller.
The NFL, you know this, there is no love in the NFL more than overvaluing a quarterback in the NFL draft. It just doesn't happen.
No, yes, absolutely. But if you just drafted based on position, or based on talent, next season, I think Caleb would be 1 or 2 of the best players coming out.
The third Buckeye ranked on Manny Navarro's top 25 list of players in the Big Ten. Sonny Styles coming in at number 7. Who's the best linebacker in the Big Ten? In today's pass-happy game, you can make the argument that the 6'4", 235-pound former safety has all the ingredients needed to fill the role. Second-team All-Big Ten selection produced 100 tackles, 10 TFLs, 6 sacks, tied for 5th among all Power 4 linebackers with 16 coverage stops last season, according to PFF. The crazy thing about Sonny Styles is that we need to rein it back and realize that he's only been playing linebacker for a year. For a year, and he did that and played the way that he did last year in learning a very intricate room with James Laurinaitis.
Well, and if you think about, he was playing deep safety in high school.
Yeah.
So he
very different than linebacker.
Right. And it wasn't even like he just got put in the middle of the defense and asked to do everything. I remember going and watching, I think it was the state semifinal, and it almost surprised me how little they used him defensively in that game. I mean, when he was used, he was really good. But, he just sat deep. So it wasn't like he had linebacker experience at the end of his high school career that he could lean on and whatnot. I think you saw that early on last year.
He was playing what Caleb Downs plays.
Yeah, exactly. I think you saw that early last year. There were growing pains, no doubt about it. And I think that as the year went on, you saw what James Laurinaitis and the rest of the coaching staff envisioned, especially by the time you get to the end of the season, college football playoff. He was one of the best linebackers in the country at that point. And the fact that he decided to come back, granted, only 1 year, as you mentioned, but I think if he went in the draft this year, he's probably picked decently high.
And the best part about Sonny, too, is that he had Cody Simon there to pick his brains.
Right.
And, I don't know about you, Pat, but I gushed about Cody Simon. Guy decides to come back for his 5th year through all the trials and tribulations he went through at his career at Ohio State and got really rewarded not only with the national championship but some very high-octane accolades in that playoff run. So for Sonny to be in the room with a guy like Cody Simon to be able to pick his brain, James, of course.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, it's not like he had a bad career at Ohio State either, but just to be able to learn those experiences through those two guys, I think was a huge help for Sonny and his development at that position.
For sure. I don't think it goes as quickly as it does if he doesn't have guys around him like that. Jim Knowles, too. Let's not forget him. I know he's not as big of a name in Buckeye country right now, but
he's not on the friends list, I don't think.
But that's a guy who worked with the linebackers as well. Obviously, James had moved into the full-time linebacker coach role at that point. But it was a perfect situation to move him down, put him at that linebacker position and really utilize his skills, because I think it was going to happen at some point, whether it was at Ohio State or whether it was once he went to the NFL. That was probably where he was.
Well, he just looked at him and like, dude, you need to get down into the box and play linebacker.
Right. And once he started to play without thinking, and he admitted this, I think it was around the Michigan State game, that where there were a couple times where you could tell he was just off by a half second or whatnot. It's because you're thinking a little bit too much. Once he just started playing and reacting and just being Sonny Styles, you saw the result.
Yeah, you did. Now he's the 7th best player in the Big Ten, according to Manny Navarro. Max Clare is the last Buckeye on his list of top 25 players. We haven't seen Max Clare ever play a snap in the Scarlet and Gray, but we have seen him play at Purdue, and he was very good. Here's what Manny says. The former 3-star recruit from Cincinnati was a third-team All-Big Ten pick as a sophomore at Purdue before leaving Columbus in late December. 51 passes, 685 yards, 4 touchdowns, including 34 that went for first downs. He could be the biggest beneficiary of all the double teams that Smith draws in Brian Hartline's offense. Yes, 1,000% agreed. I was watching the Bobby Carpenter show a little bit earlier today. They had Keenan Bailey on, and Keenan Bailey was like, listen, we're probably going to have the best tight end room in the country, and he's the best receiving tight end that we have. So you do the math on that. But I am excited to see Max Clare, because you have to double Jeremiah. You have to do something to be able to bracket him. So whichever tight end you're going to be thrown to, specifically Max Clare, he's going to have a lot of room to operate.
Well, and don't forget, you're breaking in a new starting quarterback, right? And both guys are inexperienced. So what's the best friend of a young quarterback, an inexperienced quarterback? Somebody that you can throw to over
Safety
the middle.
valve, baby.
Yes, exactly. And I think Max Clare will be great for that. Uber talented. You said 3-star recruit, not to disparage recruiting services. Obviously, I work for one of them, but it's just crazy to think that a guy who did what he did last year at Purdue and is getting and rightfully so, getting all of the hype this offseason, wasn't recognized for what he could be. And obviously guys grow and change and develop and whatnot, but I do think it's always funny to look back, like, how did he slip through the cracks?
Yeah, because he's really good at just playing football, that guy.
It's like Will Howard last year. I'm like, you see him with all the tools around him, and it's like, oh, that's an NFL quarterback. I didn't see an NFL quarterback at Kansas State.
Well, we had our questions about him, a lot of questions when he transferred over.
Absolutely. So, yeah, I'm excited for Max Clare. It's just a different dynamic in this offense. I'm going to talk about him again later, so I won't go too far in. But, yeah, they haven't had a guy like this. And maybe Jelani Thurman learns from him and becomes that next guy, but they haven't had a pass-catching tight end like this in quite some time.
Again, we are over at Yogi's in Grandview. Draft Coors Lights, $3 until 8 o'clock. Come and hang out with us. They do look very good. We got a couple of buckets in front of us. Can't have one till 8, but I will be having plenty after 8 o'clock. We did this a couple of days ago with Austin. We're going to do it again tonight. What is Murph most interested in Buckeye camp starting here in a few weeks? We're going to do that coming up in 2 minutes. It's the Buckeye Show on the Fan.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End of friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Stay hydrated. It's hot out there. So my teenage son just went out in sweatpants and a hoodie. It's 98 degrees. At least I know he'll be cool in our house, thanks to Atlas Butler. If something goes wrong, they'll fix it within 24 hours. They call it their comfort pledge. Get too hot?
My phone.
Oh, your phone. Should have known.
Atlas Butler is at your service. Call 1-800-FURNACE.
AgPro has been family-owned and operated for over 64 years. We take pride in developing long-lasting relationships and offering first-class customer service. Need a new tractor, parts for your used equipment, or reliable service? AgPro has you covered. AgPro is here to serve you and your operation as your hometown dealer. Visit us today at any of our AgPro locations or go online to agproco.com to get started with your AgPro experience.
Experience the ultimate gridiron experience at the Ohio State Football Training Camp, presented by Safe Flight, Bob's Discount Furniture, and Weber, happening at the Woody Hayes Athletic Center July 31st through August 2nd. Don't miss your chance to get the first look at your Ohio State football team. Bring your friends and family and dive into the excitement with inflatables, giveaways, and more. Tickets are limited, so get yours today to ensure you don't miss out on the fun. Visit universe.com/OSU Training Camp 2025 to purchase your tickets today.
The Buckeye Show is sponsored by CareSource, proud to be your home for Ohio State athletics. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Someone out there probably thinks we spend too much time talking about the Buckeyes. Please tell someone that they're stupid. You're listening to the Buckeye Show.
Hanging out with Yogi's in Grandview. Awesome time. $3 Coors Lights until 8 o'clock this evening. They just brought some food by for us, too. Looks like we've got some chicken nachos over there, some sort of fries, lovely buffalo wing.
I was so distracted by the food, I didn't put my headset on.
Yeah, no, you weren't ready for it.
No,
you need to come prepared, all right?
I was prepared for the food that we can't eat right now.
If you're watching on the YouTube stream, I can actually see Pat drooling. So if you zoom in, you might be able to see that, too. Yeah, come hang out
that and the beers.
I know. Which one's better? That's why they go so well together.
Exactly.
Again, come and hang out with us tonight. Yogi's in Grandview from 6 to 8 o'clock, $3 Coors Light draft. So we were just talking about top 25 Buckeyes in the Big Ten heading into this season, Pat. And I did this with Austin. And, I mean, there's a million different storylines with this team. And as we get into July now, we're just a couple weeks away from Big Ten Media Days in Vegas. And then swiftly following that next week, Ohio State will be ramping up fall camp and preparations for Texas. Is it as simple as quarterback to you, or what else are you looking at when we get into camp here?
Yeah, quarterback's the obvious thing I think everyone will be interested in. But we were just talking about Max Clare. And to me, it's how do they use him? Because they haven't had this guy, as we were just talking about. And I asked Keenan Bailey, you brought him up earlier, when you have an offense that has so many other weapons, you know you need to get the ball to Jeremiah. You've got your running backs. You've got Carnell Tate. You've got Brandon Ennis, Bryson Rogers. You haven't been a team that's traditionally thrown to the tight end quite a bit. Like, how do you
They do a lot inside of the offense, though.
Absolutely.
They do a ton.
Oh, they are super underrated. That's why you see Buckeyes drafted. Maybe not the highest tight ends because they don't catch a ton of passes, but they are certainly a valuable part of this offense. But then how do you integrate kind of a player like that you haven't had that kind of archetype before? And I think that's been part of the thing with Johnny Thurman is, like, yes, he had to develop as a blocker and things like that, but also
high-level athlete.
Yes, so but I don't know if they've
quadruple catch against Penn State last year, too.
That was great. Best play he's made. But just, like, how do you integrate a guy like that? And you saw some of it with G. Scott Jr. last year, but, like, you don't want to ruin or you don't want to waste the talent that Max Clare has. So I'm really intrigued to see more, especially as they start to figure out the quarterback situation, as you get closer to the season and you're doing the things that are going to be shown on Saturdays, right? Like, what does Max Clare look like out there? Is it going to be as close to what he did at Purdue last year? Because he was the Purdue passing.
Well, and also, too, like, when you're the guy at a team and teams realize that, and I mean, this is no slight against Purdue, but they were bad. Like, they were. Right. It was a very bad football team. And if Max Clare is the best player on a very bad football team, guess what defenses are going to do? They're going to hone in on him, and they're going to say, all right, well, maybe instead of giving double coverage to an outside receiver or slot or whatever, the defensive game plan is, like, we need to bracket this tight end. And so you come here to Ohio State, like, you got to bracket JJ, you got to bracket Garnell, you got to bracket Brandon Ennis, name your wide receiver. There are other places where you have to focus, and then you throw Max Clare into the list. You're able to beat a linebacker, you beat a safety. He's going to be open a lot of times.
Right, and for me, or for Keenan Bailey, because that was his answer, it was simple, right? Like, he will be one-on-one or even wide open at times.
Which is nice, to your point, for a young quarterback or inexperienced quarterback.
Exactly. So I just want to see that in action because – we've talked every year, like, is it the year of the tight end when they've had good tight ends?
Yeah, we've done that show like every year.
Right. Is this it? Is it going to happen? You have the guy to do it if it is. And then the defensive side, I think the defensive tackle depth is something we've talked about a lot, right? So those guys, the Tywan Malones, the Jason Moores, the Will Smith Jr.'s, Jarquez Carter, what has been the development since the end of spring, going through summer with Mick? You get some time on the field with the coaching staff. what does that look like now? Have they made progress to the point where maybe this isn't as big of a deal because those are the guys you're going with. There's no transfer portal. You can't go get a guy. You're not making a trade.
The roster's the roster now.
Right.
Like, you're done.
So is there the necessary progress made that you feel comfortable that Edric Houston and Caden McDonald aren't playing every snap?
Well, I think the answer to that question is it has to be.
It does have to be.
You have to be comfortable, or else that's going to be the weak spot on your football team.
Right.
And we've talked about it since spring ball, and we're talking about it again today. It's just, are those guys ready and available to step up? Because we know one thing about Larry Johnson, he loves to rotate. So those guys are going to get their opportunities to go in there when Edric Houston and K-Mac are getting their respite. Like, you're going to see him in games because Larry Johnson doesn't stray away from that path where he's going to play a guy 90% of the snaps. He just doesn't do it.
I think the other thing that is always fun, or at least has been fun the last few years in fall camp, is the wide receivers against the cornerbacks. And maybe this is the best group in terms of depth. Like, every time these guys go one-on-one or they're in team drills or whatever,
it gets a little feisty too.
Yes, and it's going to be good on good. There's no weakness. Just because Mylan Graham's out there or Bryce West is out there, the level's still high because you have so much depth at those two positions. And like you said, it gets feisty. It's fun to watch. I remember vividly last year, Davison Igbinosun and I can't remember the receiver because he didn't catch the ball right in front of us where we were standing at camp, and Davison Igbinosun just giving him stuff after
Never one to
breaking up
shy
the
away.
pass.
Never one to shy away from a comment. IGB.
No, so that's another one that's always fun at camp. And it's weird because these guys are on the same team. They're fighting for the same goal, but they're going to let each other hear it during practice. If one guy makes a play, the other guy's going to know about it.
If you have a chance to go out to one of the, is it 3 camps that's open to the public?
Yeah, I think it's
Thursday,
the first
Friday, Saturday, at the very end of July, and you're just wanting something to watch the wide receivers, watch the DBs, and it's the 3 first practices, Pat. It's kind of warm up week. You're probably not going to see that, but if you do get an opportunity to go out and watch these guys go good against each other,
it's great.
I mean, it's the highest level you could possibly think of in the college game because every rep matters. And I know it's the old saying, iron sharpens iron, right? Like, we love to say it. There's nothing more. Either that or the standard is the standard. But those guys going against each other, every single rep is how you get better. And they are loaded with talent, and they're loaded with experience, and it should be a lot of fun as they get into camp.
100%. I love that part of it. It's the battles that you want to see at Ohio State's camp. And then you've got, new defensive linemen, I get it. Mm-hmm. Some new offensive linemen. But, those are fun. If you are a line trenches type of guy, those are fun as well. And, sometimes they'll do some stuff on their own, good versus good. If you get the opportunity to see that, that's another fun one as well.
I'm excited to see, as we get into camp, what Matt Patricia really starts to hone in on.
Sure.
And what this defense is going to look like compared to what we've known for the last 3 years under Jim Knowles.
Yes, I think it will have the same structure. Ryan Day wants his defense to look like it has the last few years, but they're going to let Matt Patricia do his thing, and that's finding the best players. And we know some of them. We talked about a couple of them in Sonny Styles and Caleb Downs on the last segment. But what other guys does he pick out? We can do some things with this guy. We can do some things with that guy. It's not going to be as simple as just run it back, even though it was so successful last year.
Well, remember, too, it went through a little bit of a change because they really weren't the first 5 or 6 games before that Oregon loss. They weren't bringing pressure a lot. It was just like base defense. They were doing everything kind of vanilla. And then you saw the Oregon game, had a bad week defensively. And then, I don't know, schematically, holistically, if it all changed. But then you saw Jim Knowles at the very end of the season bringing more pressures, exotic looks. And so I almost wonder if Matt Patricia gets into that bag a little bit earlier than last season.
I think you have to. Week 1 against Texas, right? You've got to be ready to go.
It's not like you have time to wade into the water.
No, absolutely not. And Matt Patricia's done it, right? At the highest of high levels. Yeah. Super Bowls, things like that. So I don't expect there to be any need. Yeah, he's got to learn these guys, and maybe he figures some things out once the bullets really start flying in the season. But I think he will have a very good idea of, especially the known commodities, how he wants to use them.
Well, and if you talk to Matt Patricia at all, too, I mean, he said, that year off that he had, it was like him, Bill Belichick, and some old New England staffers just in the lab, learning the college game. And we know it didn't work out in Detroit. We know that, right? I mean, we've done that story. We did it all the way through spring. But you give a guy like that with that amount of football knowledge a whole year to prepare, and then you jump in here at Ohio State with the standard being what it is. I'm excited to see what he can do with these guys because you do have a bevy of options.
Absolutely, and it's a little crazy that Bill Belichick, Matt Patricia spend a year looking at the college game and sort of reassessing some things. Then they both end up back in college. Like I don't know if that was planned. I don't think for sure with Bill Belichick that that's what he thought he would be doing this year, but it's going to be interesting to watch how both of those guys, obviously Bill Belichick is a head coach, Matt Patricia is a defensive coordinator, how they handle things. Very different situation down in North Carolina than what he's got.
Yeah, it is kind of interesting that he didn't go down there with his boy, though.
Yeah, well, he brought his son in.
Yeah. You're right. That's a good point.
Yes, but and look,
Jordan Hudson would like you to know that was an admirable hire, though.
Yes, absolutely, and I think that there will be success down there. I also think that a guy like Matt Patricia, if you want to sort of rehabilitate your career a little bit after taking the hits in Detroit, you probably want to go someplace like Ohio State, right, where you're going to be seen all the time. Not that North Carolina isn't going to be in the spotlight, because they will be this year. But I think it's a little different. Plus, you're doing it on your own, so to speak. You're not doing it under Bill Belichick again. I think that's
you're not
important.
just like, hey, you're having if North Carolina has success, it's not like, hey, Bill Belichick's getting all of it, Matt Patricia's not, right?
Because that was a big question as this is all starting to come out that Matt Patricia might be the guy, was how much of it was Bill Belichick, how much of it was Matt Patricia. I think as we've talked with Matt Patricia, as you've looked at it more, talked to people that covered or were around that team, that Matt Patricia clearly knows what he's talking about. But when it doesn't work elsewhere and it's only been super successful under Bill Belichick, I think that question was fair.
You'll never guess which Buckeye could be in line for the 2028 Olympics flag football roster. We'll get into that coming up next. It's the Buckeye Show on The Fan.
Unlike your deadbeat uncle, we'll never leave you stranded in a ditch when you were 6. This promo may have been a touch too specific. The Fan.
The big one is back. The Good Guys 27th Summit Racing Nationals presented by PPG. All this weekend at the Ohio Expo Center in Columbus. Over 6,000 of the nation's baddest hot rods, muscle cars, and trick trucks. Don't miss Good Guys autocross racing action. A tire-smoking burnout competition. A pro street takeover. Earth-shaking Nitro Thunderfest. Meet the top builders in the industry and more. All this weekend at the Ohio Expo Center. Details at good-guys.com.
Hey friends, Beamer here. You tired of being tired, sick of feeling sluggish, bored with being bloated? Maybe if you're fed up with that feeling of fogginess, whatever your reason, your solution is only a click away. Reboot your life and enhance your summer at awaken180weightloss.com.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone for Window Nation. Now you can get 50% off all window styles plus no interest until 2030. Stop procrastinating on upgrading your home. Call 866-90NATION or visit windownation.com today to take advantage of Window Nation's best deal of the year.
It's Kubota Orange Days. From America's #1 selling compact tractor to zero-turn mowers and versatile RTVs, get your perfect match delivered to your door. Now through June 30th, get 0 down, 0% APR for 84 months or up to $3,500 off BX23S tractors. See the details at KubotaOrangeDays.com.
Visit BuckeyeKubotaDealers.com to find a dealer near you. Go behind the scenes of one of the most recognizable landmarks in all of college athletics with a tour of Ohio Stadium presented by Experience Columbus. A seasoned redcoat will be your guide as you make your way through walls of the stadium, into the press box, and onto the field. Upgrade to the VIP package and get special access to the band center and the Ohio State home locker room. From corporate outings and school groups to single-person tours and small families, Ohio Stadium tours offer a variety of options and pricing. For more information, visit OhioStateBuckeyes.com and book your tour. Ohio Stadium Tours, presented by Experience Columbus. What is dippable and dunkable? And now at Donato's, it's Donato's new chicken dippers. Flavorful boneless chicken breast tenders served up with 7 amazing dipping sauce options, including new garlic parmesan and sweet chili. For a limited time, try new chicken dippers for just $5 on the $5 Pizza Pals menu. More toppings, more flavor, more fun. Donato's. Gotta love more.
Soy has been keeping secrets, and it's ready to share. Soybeans are among the most versatile agricultural products. They are used in creative ways you may have never realized to make products we all love and use every day. Ohio is leading the way, developing new uses for soybeans to support our changing world. Soy low-key slays, and I'm here for it. Learn more about soybeans at soysecrets.org. This ad brought to you by Ohio soybean farmers and their checkoff.
Hi, here are some ways to listen to The Fan. You can download the Fan app, or listen at home on your smart speaker, or open up the iHeartRadio app, or hold your head out the window and hear Common Man scream. Happy listening from the Dopes at The Fan.
Imagine what it would feel like getting tackled head-on by a 240-pound linebacker. You'd be in serious pain, right? But if you're unbuckled in a car crash, at just 50 miles an hour, you become a deadly projectile that can slam into other passengers with 8 times that amount of force. Don't let someone else take the hit. Buckle up and visit buckleup.ohio.gov to learn more. Brought to you by ODOT and ODPS.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu. My Computer Career, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Ohio Heating and Bryant. Doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
We here at The Fan believe there's no such thing as too much Ohio State coverage. You're locked into the Buckeye Show.
Hanging out tonight, Yogi's in Grandview until 8 o'clock. We got $3 Coors drafts till 8. I mean, I am very tempted to just reach into one of these buckets and grab them, but all the fine folks out here seem to be having plenty.
They do. I'm jealous.
I know. I am too.
That's all I've got to say.
I am too. Thanks for everybody for coming out again. Still a couple more hours to hang out with us on this lovely little Thursday we're having in Columbus. I want to focus on the YouTube chat real quick. Thanks for everybody for watching tonight. You can always go to our YouTube channel and hang out with us that way if you're unable to make it live and in person. So Johnny asks an interesting question. He goes, Brandon and Pat, topic I'd like to get your opinion on. What does an unsuccessful season look like for Jeremiah Smith? He's all the rage, obviously, but there's a chance. Is there a chance that he doesn't live up to the expectation? I don't know what an unsuccessful season for him looks like, only because if his numbers take a dip, I would have to imagine that Brandon Inniss, Carnell Tate, and even a Max Clare, their numbers will be skyrocketing. Like, that's the only thing I can imagine from a personal statistic reason for an unsuccessful season out of Jeremiah Smith.
I agree. I think, look, the expectations are so high, right?
Yes, they are.
I mean, we're talking Biletnikoff and Heisman as, like,
most important player in college football.
Yeah, people really expecting that he could do both of those things. So I think if he doesn't win either, people will probably be, I don't want to say disappointed, but especially if the team has success, as you're saying, other guys are stepping up. But I do think there is an element of this could be one of the most historic wide receiver seasons in Ohio State history, maybe even college football history, though. I did look at the NCAA records for, catches, touchdown. They're just absurd. Like, it must have been somebody who didn't belong in the MAC or something that just caught a bazillion passes or was just a deep. I don't remember the numbers off the top of my head, but it's like.
You're talking about, like,
all-time
NCAA numbers?
Like, I went to look to see if, like, are these in reach? They're not. I mean, just especially because he has these other guys around him. But, yeah, that's a really good question because I think we're talking more about,
thanks, Johnny.
what he can do, and it hasn't looked that way. I think if you ask Jeremiah, he would tell you that as long as they win, as long as the rest of the team is doing well, that's really all he cares about. He said after the national championship game he wants 2 or 3 more, right? And I think, honestly, that is what matters most to him. When he got asked last year about not winning Freshman of the Year, and he just said that what the defensive end at Texas,
Colin Simmons,
yeah. I was going to say Colin Sexton, who is a basketball player.
Yeah, different sport.
Not the same.
Same first name, though.
Yes.
You were close.
He's a really good player, too. Like, that was his response. And I think that's, maybe there is a part of him that cared about winning that, but I think he takes the national championship 10 out of 10 times.
I've got the receiving stats in front of me.
Lay them on me.
Zay Jones, good NFL,
I know him. Yeah.
Good NFL wide receiver. East Carolina, 158 receptions in a season.
Yeah, Jeremiah had 74 last year.
All right, so that's doubling it. It's doubling it plus 10 is what that is. Most receptions for a career.
Wait, let me put that into perspective even more. Emeka Egbuka, Jackson Smith and Jigbo, who holds the Ohio State record in that was it 2022? 2021. He had 95 catches.
And that
was absurd.
Yes, and that's the Ohio State record.
Anyway,
correct?
continue. Yes,
the most receptions for a career, also Zay Jones. No surprise there, given the fact that he had the most in a single season. 399 catches. He played 4 years down at East Carolina. Your boy Cooper Kupp, though, 428 for Eastern Washington.
Yeah, I did know he was on that list. What's the yardage?
Hold on, let me see. Most receiving yards in a career.
I remember being blown away by this, yes.
Corey Davis, good NFL wide receiver. Western Michigan, 5,278 yards.
Yeah, what about in a season?
2,060 by Trevor Inslee out of Nevada.
Okay. Jackson that year had 1,606.
And that's unbelievable.
That was great. That was fantastic. Yeah. So, I don't think Jeremiah can reach those. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know what a disappointing season would look like for him. For him individually, I don't think we're going to find out though. I think he's going to be pretty good this year.
So speaking of Jeremiah Smith, this whole segment was based upon him. I was reading this from Matt Bowen of ESPN, and he went through naming the list for players to potentially be playing in the 2028 Olympics, donning the stars and stripes. United States of America. Would have to imagine any sport they would be the highest favored team to ever win a gold medal at the Olympics in flag football. It goes on to say Jaden Daniels, quarterback, Jahmyr Gibbs, running back, all these guys are NFL superstars. Here's who Mr. Bowen has as his starting wide receivers. 2028 Olympics, all right? We're a couple of years away from that kicking off in L.A. Justin Jefferson.
Yep.
All right?
Fair enough.
Arguably the best receiver in the NFL. Also wide receiver. Jamar Chase, Cincinnati Bengals. I believe those guys are number 1 and number 2 highest paid receivers in the NFL.
And they played college together.
And they did play college together with Joe Burrow.
Yes.
The third wide receiver on this list, Jeremiah Smith, Ohio State.
Yeah.
That's a crazy thing to even put into the ether sphere. We've seen 1 year of college football from Jeremiah Smith, and we're already projecting him to be the star on the United States Olympics flag football team.
And I would say that this is too much to these type of projections, and like we said, Biletnikoff, Heisman, all that. But, I don't think there's a ceiling with this kid at this point. I told you last year I was a bit of a skeptic, just thought maybe he would take some time to get into the Ohio State rotation at receiver. No. He's doing things that no one else has done. He's LeBron on a football field.
And Marvin Harrison Jr. said that.
Yes, absolutely. And here's the question, though, and this debate came up not too long ago. The U.S. already has a flag football team.
Yeah. I remember the quarterback.
Right. And
it's a different game, to be fair.
Yes. So I'm interested to see, as we get closer to that, do they go with the NFL guys? How did the NFL guys prepare?
Well, I think the NFL Players Union is staunchly for letting the players play because it's the first time in history that this has ever happened.
And I think it makes sense. But, is that the best for the team in terms of trying to win? I would think so, but I honestly don't, other than playing recreationally in college, I don't know much about how flag football will be.
I don't know the rules.
Right.
I don't know the rules, the ins and outs.
So how much different is it? And then do these guys who play one way the entire time?
I'm just having a really good time, imagining Slovenia, playing the United States of America, and having to guard Jeremiah Smith, Justin Jefferson, and Jamar Chase. That's a really just fun visual to paint in my head.
And that's the thing is that the U.S. should be that much more dominant because they are the country that plays football. Who would they have as a quarterback for this team?
For this team, Jaden Daniels. Because you can run. Jaden Daniels, Lamar.
Yeah. Okay.
Pick your poison.
If he's throwing to those three guys,
yeah.
I don't know if the rules matter.
Yeah, and I also don't know how good the current USA flag football team is, but I'm sure if either one of those guys or that whole team shows up like the Avengers, you're probably going with them.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that you have two guys who, as you said, the two highest paid wide receivers, and a guy who will probably be breaking their records we'll probably go back and forth between those three guys for a while once Jeremiah's in the NFL. And they're all just physical freaks, too. It's not like, it's just a great offense that they're in. You mentioned Cooper Kupp earlier.
Yes, or it's like a system guy,
yes,
right?
Exactly. Cooper Kupp, great. Would he be a shoo-in for that? I don't know. But those three, I don't know how you stop them in any form of football.
The best part about this is I was reading the alternates for the wide receiver positions, and it was CeeDee Lamb,
good,
Malik Neighbors,
not bad,
and Garrett Wilson. Like the alternates, and Jeremiah was placed ahead of all of them. And all of them are fantastic NFL receivers.
Right, and the key word there being NFL receivers.
Yes, at the professional level.
Right, Jeremiah Smith is
all
played
pros.
One year of college. If we're doing this radio show in a different city, do we think that that's absurd?
Yeah, I think we
Probably,
do. But we've also seen it up close and personal.
Yeah, and look, again, I'm full believer in Jeremiah Smith. It would not surprise me if he sets all of the Ohio State records this year. Again, the only thing I think that maybe changes that is the other weapons they have and the fact that they will need to get the ball to those guys as well.
We are hanging out in Yogi's in Grandview. Come and join us. We're here until 8 o'clock. Also, $3 draft Coors Lights until 8 o'clock. So something to wet your whistle on this nice, hot, humid Thursday in Columbus. Who are some of the greatest arch rivals in the college game right now? We're going to do that in the Pulse coming up next. It's the Buckeye Show on The Fan.
An encyclopedic knowledge of sports and other random things you may or may not care about.
I think I found my mentor.
Rockman and Ice.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
The Fan.
Experience the ultimate gridiron experience at the Ohio State Football Training Camp, presented by Safe Flight, Bob's Discount Furniture, and Weber, happening at the Woody Hayes Athletic Center July 31st through August 2nd. Don't miss your chance to get the first look at your Ohio State football team. Bring your friends and family and dive into the excitement with inflatables, giveaways, and more. Tickets are limited, so get yours today to ensure you don't miss out on the fun. Visit universe.com/OSU Training Camp 2025 to purchase your tickets today.
Your bathroom's got to go, the vanity's decayed, and toilet's really old. The bathtub's giving way, give Baths R Us a ring. Call morning, noon, or night. You do not have to wait to get your bathroom right.
Call Baths R Us for your free estimate and enter to win our Christmas in July $12,500 bathroom remodel with an additional savings of up to $3,000 plus low to no monthly payments. 380-225-2284. Baths R Us, where dreams soak in.
There's one medical team in Central Ohio skilled enough to care for your favorite Ohio State team, and Buckeyes everywhere. The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center is your choice for the most highly specialized orthopedic and sports medicine care. Our surgeons, physicians, and physical therapists have access to the most advanced treatments and innovative recovery approaches to get you back in your game. Because on or off the field, our team is your team. The choice for your orthopedic care is clear.
The future of recycling is now at Rumpke Waste and Recycling. The recycling leader has opened North America's largest, most technologically advanced recycling center right here in Central Ohio. This one-of-a-kind facility features interactive displays, educational opportunities, and the ability to process over 60 tons of recycled material per hour. Rumpke is committed to recycling and sustainability efforts, and for more than 90 years, Rumpke has worked to make sure the items you place in your recycling bin get used again. Visit Rumpke.com to learn how you can team with Rumpke to put less trash in our landfills and more of it to good use.
Hey, Ohio State fan, are you ready for game day? Get hyped and get your crew going with the Buckeye meal at BK. For $20, you'll get one juicy flame grill Whopper sandwich, one original chicken sandwich, 2 mouthwatering cheeseburgers, 3 crispy golden small fries, and 3 refreshing small drinks. Grab your $20 Buckeye meal today and share the taste of victory. At BK, have it your way. You rule. Limited time only at participating Ohio area restaurants. Tax extra. BK is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Experience the ultimate gridiron experience at the Ohio State Football Training Camp, presented by Safe Flight, Bob's Discount Furniture, and Weber, happening at the Woody Hayes Athletic Center July 31st through August 2nd. Don't miss your chance to get the first look at your Ohio State football team. Bring your friends and family and dive into the excitement with inflatables, giveaways, and more. Tickets are limited, so get yours today to ensure you don't miss out on the fun. Visit universe.com/OSU Training Camp 2025 to purchase your tickets today.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. The Fan. Sports. Sports Center.
Good evening. I'm Cam Taylor. The Cincinnati Reds are facing the Miami Marlins in the finale of their 4-game series and are currently up 6-0 in the top of the 7th. The Reds snapped a 4-game losing streak yesterday with a 7-2 win over the Marlins. The Cleveland Guardians will face the Chicago White Sox tonight at 7:40. Logan Allen will get the start for the Guards. Cleveland is on a 3-game winning streak after sweeping the Houston Astros this week. The Hell is Real rivalry between the Columbus Crew and FC Cincinnati will take place on Saturday at 7:30. And the number 1 pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the Dallas Mavericks' Cooper Flagg will make his NBA Summer League debut tonight against the LA Lakers and Bronny James at 8 p.m. Breaking sports news when it happens on Ohio Sports Destination, 97.1 The Fan.
It's time for the College Football Pulse on the Buckeye Show.
Sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Hour number 2 for us here on a lovely Thursday night in Columbus. We are live, myself and Patrick Murphy over at Yogi's in Grandview. $3 draft Coors Lights. They took the food away from you because you couldn't stop eating during the breaks.
It's not too far. I can still see it.
Oh, I know. During the breaks, you're going up and shoveling it down your beak.
It may look like I'm looking at the camera if you're watching this on YouTube. I'm not. I'm staring at the food behind it.
I just heard Cam mention, not some news about the Crew, but they do play Hell is Real coming up on Saturday. Did you guys procure tickets? Are you going?
Yeah, there's, I think, 12 of us going down as a group. And then I know some other. Well, there'll be a big group, but a group of the people I usually sit with. So should be a lot of fun. Looking forward to that. Always fun. Obviously, much better.
Have you been down there every year since they came into MLS?
Yes, even before when they played when the Cincinnati was in the lower league. I was down there. I covered that game. It's a great time.
You guys stay down there on like Friday or
no? We'll go Saturday.
Well, I guess you're working with me tomorrow. That would be a late night getting down there.
Yes. So we'll go down Saturday morning. I have some friends in Cincinnati. Marissa Contepelli, who works for the Bengals, used to work up here. So we're going to see some people going down early with our Buffalo Bills friend. He's going to drive me down.
Who shall not be named?
Correct.
Apparently he was supposed to be here tonight, but I don't see him.
No, he didn't show up.
Our guy Joe's here, though.
He's cooking dinner. Yeah, Joe's here. Was talking about Manchester United with us during the break. Love it.
He's got a Manchester United tattoo. He's dedicated to the team.
He does. More dedicated than us.
Yeah, totally. It's a great night over here at Yogi's in Grandview. Hopefully everybody's having an awesome time. Cam, let's talk some college football. What do you got for us tonight, buddy?
Alrighty, and so on ESPN, they looked at the anticipated arch villains for every top 25 college football team for this upcoming season. Kicking it off with Penn State, they have Ryan Day listed as their top arch rival, their top arch villain.
Yeah, that doesn't really surprise me at all, Cam. It's been the giant who James Franklin cannot slay.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know exactly what his record is against Ohio State. I don't have it in front of me.
He has one win.
I can tell you that it's not good. And that one win that they did have, I remember it vividly, as I'm sure all of you Ohio State fans do as well, that it was rushed. The field goal team was rushed out on the field. It was blocked by Penn State. It was returned for a touchdown. That was the end of that game, and that was the one victory that James Franklin had in that series. So I understand why this is number 1 on the list. I mean, you talk about all the hype in the world for Penn State. They brought mostly everybody back. Now, I know that they lost some players to the NFL draft, Abdul Carter, Tyler Warren, those guys. But majority they brought back. So they have all the hype, like what Ohio State had last year, of like, hey, we're returning, we're coming back, we're doing this to get a natty. That's the pressure that Penn State is facing this year. But the elephant in the room is that Penn State can't beat Ohio State, and they do come here the first weekend in November. So from a college football perspective, arch rival, yeah, Ohio State is the number 1 arch rival of Penn State.
Yeah, they say unrivaled, but for this group, the James Franklin era, absolutely. It's crazy, too, because Ohio State's been dominant in terms of wins and losses, but the games are close. 28-17, 38-25, 33-24. I mean, I could read them all. It's.
I mean, this year you held the ball for the last 6 minutes and 40 seconds of the game.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not like Penn State is just getting blown out by Ohio State, but the Buckeyes have found a way to do it. This game's in Columbus, which I think is important to point out, and it's. I mean, that is almost their Super Bowl. If assuming that they can do that, then I think they're in a much better place to go into the playoff. But again, they haven't done it.
And I know you haven't done this, but during my multiple tasks at the radio station, we have to cut up coaches' sound, right? So like during the weekly press conferences, we'd sit there and we'd listen to them, and I think just the way that James Franklin attacks big games mentally, I hate it, because he's always like, just another game on the schedule. It's just another game on the schedule. I'm like, you don't have to say that, man. We all know it's a big game. It's a top 5 matchup. It's at home. Like, change the narrative around your program. Do something. Get off that couch and find your dog.
Yeah.
Like, that's just something that he doesn't do.
Well, and remember after, I forget which year it was, when he went on the giant rant post-game.
We're done being average.
Yes, and like, again, they're right there. They were a playoff semifinalist last year, but that is, like you said, that is the giant that they have to slay. It's on their minds.
They're going to be good this year.
Absolutely. They've been good.
They have been. They've been really good.
They've lost 6 straight to Ryan Day since he's been the head coach.
Yeah.
And obviously also took away our defensive coordinator in Jim Knowles.
It's a huge storyline, and that's going to be all we talk about when the time that Penn State comes in here. But yeah, from like a national perspective, that's the boogeyman.
Absolutely.
That is the boogeyman. Others on this list as well. Number 5, biggest arch rival in college football, comes from Ohio State. Their biggest arch rival being Sharon Moore. Yeah, kind of. I mean, you look at the last 4 seasons, Harbaugh suspended, yada, 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 whatever. We don't have to get into that entire situation. But Sharon Moore, the way that he coached that game last year, and nobody thought that Michigan was going to win, and you come into the Horseshoe and win, there's still a lot of pressure on this Ohio State team to beat Michigan, obviously, at the end of the year. Now, you got a national championship out of it, so you feel a lot better. But I think that's every bit of deserving as well. Number 5 arch rival in college football, Ohio State, and their rival being Michigan. I get it. I totally understand that.
100%. And I think, for Ryan Day, just in general, I think it's the same conversation, getting over the mountaintop. Now, he does have the 1 win against Michigan. Who knows what happens if they play in 2020. But these last 4 years, there's clearly something going on up top that he has to get over mentally. I put out a tweet today because the conversation I was having with some people over the weekend asking Ohio State fans, what is more important to you this season, repeating as a national champion or beating Michigan?
Okay.
It is very close,
Is it like 52-48? Is it skewing national championship or Michigan?
It is just national champion, 52.7% to 47.3%. So you nailed that one.
What would you call a successful season for Ohio State this year? You know what? You think about that. We'll do that in the next segment.
All right.
I'll start reading off some more of these arch rivals. Number 8 on this list, arch rival to another program. Oregon's arch rival being Ohio State. You got the regular season game. You did it. You had fun. That was an awesome atmosphere from what I heard. I'm sure that you can talk about it, Pat, out in Autzen. But then you play out in the Rose Bowl, and you get absolutely smoked on Ohio State's way to a national championship.
I was listening to Urban Meyer talk about Dan Lanning on his podcast earlier this week.
Happy birthday, Coach.
Yes, it is. Today. Happy birthday to Urban Meyer, July 10th. But he was talking about how the only thing he has left to do, because he's elevated that program every year in terms of wins, the only thing that he has left to do is win a national championship, right? And that's probably going to mean going through
also
Ohio
beat
State.
Kalen DeBoer. He has not done that yet.
Yeah. But going through Ohio State, obviously the two don't play in the regular season this year, could meet in the Big Ten championship game, but there's a good chance they meet in the college football playoff either way. So, I think he beat Ohio State in the regular season. Obviously, Oregon won the game in Columbus a few years ago, but when it matters the most, you got to get the job done. That's what Ryan Day had on his shoulders for a while, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that's the same with Dan Lanning. Makes sense.
Cam, what else you got for us tonight, buddy?
Pro Football Focus released a top 10 list of the coaches, the top 10 college football coaches going into next season. Kirby Smart leads off the list for Georgia at number 1. Ryan Day right behind him at number 2, coming off of the recent national championship. In front of Dabo Swinney at 3, Dan Lanning at 4, and Marcus Freeman at 5.
Yeah, so I'm interested to see how, because you read 100 different lists of top 10 coaches or top 25 coaches, and what the writer is actually putting ahead of one another. And I'm not here to argue that Kirby Smart's not the best coach in college football. He's got 2 national championships. So does Dabo. I think we've seen a little bit of a downturn in Dabo's program. Now, credit to them. They got back. They got into the college football playoff. They won the ACC last year. Like, he is rebuilding something. He's dipping his toe into the transfer portal, which he wasn't doing for a long time. But I think it speaks volumes that Ryan Day, on most lists that you look at now, Pat, it is Kirby Smart number 1. It's Ryan Day number 2. it's Dabo 3, and then there's an argument between 4 and 10, depending on what metric you kind of use to measure this.
I thought it was interesting. I think it was last year, maybe it was 2 years ago. Some lists had him like 8 or 9.
He was behind Lincoln Riley.
And just absurd. Yeah. Like, Ryan Day doesn't lose the games he's not supposed to. Yes, the Michigan thing is an issue. That was my argument against Ryan Day can't win big games. It's like, well, okay, he lost by 1 to Georgia, right? Like, yes, he lost to Alabama. We talked about that, I think, last week, just the COVID stuff that was happening for one school and really not for the other. So, like, if you want to say that he can't win those big games, fine. But I think he had one hand tied behind his back in one game, and the other game he was right there. You finally saw it this year. And we talked, I know Austin's talked about this a lot, of the like, let loose Ryan Day, the guy that came out for the Georgia game, all that. You want to see that more? Well, we saw it. And maybe it took getting Chip Kelly in there with him.
It's a nice safety blanket to have.
Exactly. And look, now you're not calling the plays, so Chip Kelly can let it loose a little bit. I think that there's no question Kirby Smart deserves to be number 1. You've got 2 national championships. Obviously, what he did, even with Alabama, I think is incredible. But Ryan Day right there. If you had Dabo 2 on the argument of, hey, he has 2, Ryan has 1.
Yeah, I'd be okay with it.
I would too, but he's certainly in the top 3, and I don't think there's much argument about that.
You know what those 3 guys all have in common, Pat? They're the only 3 guys to win a national championship right now in college football.
Which is just kind of crazy to think about.
I agree wholeheartedly. I don't know if it's because Saban gobbled so many up, and Urban's out of the game now. Like, it really is a small list when you think about it. You got 5 national championships active among college football coaches right now.
Right. And
with how many thousands or hundreds of years of experience total in the game?
Would it surprise you if that doesn't change for a while? I mean, Georgia could win next year. Clemson could win next year. Ohio State could win next year.
Yeah, absolutely they could. Are you taking those 3? Or are you taking the field?
I'm taking those 3.
Yeah, I think I would too. I think it's a pretty safe bet. We're going to look at some position battles going on with the Buckeye offense. Coming up next, we are hanging out at Yogi's in Grandview until 8 o'clock. $3 course specials for the next 47-ish minutes. We'll be back. We'll talk some position battles next. It's the Buckeye Show on The Fan.
If you consider yourself a Buckeye fan, you've come to the right place. This is your heritage sports talker and home of Ohio State athletics, The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
You had a solid retirement dream. Sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But with an unpredictable economy and the future feeling uncertain, you're wondering if that equity will still be there when you're ready. What if you could bank that equity right now? With TrueHold, you can sell your home for its current value, so you can access your equity today. You can bank the cash now and stay in the home you love with an easy standard lease. TrueHold even covers property taxes, insurance, and repairs. And since TrueHold hands over your equity in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you'd like. Don't let a shifting economy put your hard-earned equity at risk. Visit TrueHold.com and receive their competitive offer on your home in just 48 hours, based on its current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit TrueHold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without moving. That's TrueHold.com.
Go behind the scenes of one of the most recognizable landmarks in all of college athletics with a tour of Ohio Stadium presented by Experience Columbus. A seasoned redcoat will be your guide as you make your way through walls of the stadium, into the press box, and onto the field. Upgrade to the VIP package and get special access to the band center and the Ohio State home locker room. From corporate outings and school groups to single-person tours and small families, Ohio Stadium Tours offer a variety of options and pricing. For more information, visit ohiostatebuckeyes.com and book your tour. Ohio Stadium Tours, presented by Experience Columbus.
Health insurance companies are expected to carry health benefits, but CareSource does so much more. We look beyond doctors' offices and hospitals to see the challenges that face our members. Then we help them achieve not just better health, but better lives. Along with great benefits, we also help our members find stable jobs, housing, childcare, and rides so they can find greater independence. At CareSource, we're removing barriers. We're improving lives. we're reimagining healthcare.
Everybody knows that Roosters is a fun, casual joint with their award-winning waitstaff, great food, fun, and laughter. It's a quick stop on the way home to sit back and unwind. It's a front row seat to the big game. Roosters is where you, your family, and friends can order pizzas, sandwiches, salads, and more. And the home of award-winning wings that are fresh, never frozen, and so big you won't believe it. It's your family's other dinner table. Roosters, a fun, casual joint, and the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Attention Columbus. Town Properties just clinched the title of the largest residential property manager in Columbus, thanks to the Columbus Business Journal. With pride, we oversee 25,000 plus households in the Columbus metro area, ensuring fantastic places to call home. Whether you're on the hunt for an exceptional living space, a top-notch association management company, or a property manager for your multifamily portfolio, visit our website at town.properties.com and let us elevate your living experience. Town Properties, always managing great places to live.
Man once shaved Timmy's leg live on the air. Tune in weekdays at 3 to see what else they'll shave. Wait, what else they'll shave? Who the hell wants to listen to that?
Common Man and Timmy, smooth as silk.
Okay, The Fan.
The best outcomes for treating cancer come from early detection and early diagnosis. The James Cancer Diagnostic Center at Ohio State
is designed to provide rapid evaluation and a clear diagnosis.
We are transforming care by giving patients direct access.
To cancer experts who study and treat cancer every day.
If you think you have cancer, the choice is clear.
Choose the James Cancer Diagnostic Center.
Experience Buckeye game day like never before. Welcome to the 1922 Club, the most exclusive space inside Ohio Stadium, where luxury meets tradition in the heart of Buckeye Nation. Enjoy upscale food and beverages and a game day atmosphere like no other. Create lasting memories with friends and mingling with other Buckeye fans, and celebrate every OHIO in ultimate comfort. Become a member of the 1922 Club today. Memberships are limited. Visit OhioStateBuckeyes.com.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Hey there, Central Ohio. I'm 10 Weather Impact Meteorologist Michael Behrens at your latest forecast. Scattered shower and storm chances continue this afternoon before fading out this evening. We'll see temperatures drop into the 70s, low 90s for Friday. Mostly sunny, hot and humid. Pop-up chance can't be ruled out for late in the day. Those chances increase on Saturday with more 90-degree heat with better storm chances come Sunday. That's your latest 10 Weather Impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Michael Behrens on 97.1 The Fan.
All Buckeyes, all the time. You are listening to The Buckeye Show.
Hanging out in Yogi's in Grandview with my guy Pat Murphy. $3 Coors Light drafts. What an atmosphere. I'm having a great time with you.
This is fantastic. Should we just do this every time?
I think we should.
They just want to have us every day?
Yeah, I don't know where Taylor's running around in here in charge of Yogi's, but Taylor, if you're out there listening, just every Thursday and Friday.
Well, and I'd even pop over when you and Austin are doing. Austin would love this.
Let's just actually take the show out of the studio and do it every night here, 6 to 8.
I just showed up. I didn't have to help set this up or anything, so I don't know how. I imagine that's a bit more complex, but if you just set up a permanent studio right here,
yeah,
I'm sure they don't use it for anything else.
No, yeah,
just the darts.
Yeah, just the dartboards. It's not like they have live events or people here hanging out with us. Yeah, you can ask Jen how intricate it is, because I'm looking over to my right-hand side here, and there's a bunch of wires, and I don't know how anything works. So we'll see. Before we get into some camp battles, I want to go back to the YouTube chat. Thanks, everybody, for watching as well. You can always go to our YouTube page and watch anytime you want, and go back and look at old episodes as well. Chad said, question about the offensive line. They did great in the college football playoffs, but we spent the majority of the time way ahead. How do you feel the offensive line this year will do when that's not the case? We talked a lot, Austin and I did last night, Pat, and I'm sure we'll get into it with some position battles, how this offensive line is very deep and it is very veteran. And the circumstances last year obviously were crazy. Losing guys left and right. You had hand, foot, and mouth disease at the very beginning. I mean, it was a mess. And actually, you could point to that and say that probably helped Ohio State out in the long term, because guys were getting reps who probably shouldn't have, as much as they were in fall camp. But I feel super confident about this offensive line. I know that a lot of the games were won from ahead, but also you had to get to that point to get ahead into the game.
Right, and we talked about that Penn State game earlier. Like, to me, that was the defining moment for the offensive line. And even like the Oregon game, the Michigan game, like I don't look back and think that the offensive line struggled in those. But as we flip forward to this year, I agree 100%. It's not something that we're talking about consistently, which is the difference between the last couple of years, frankly, going into a season, which I think is a positive. Now, you still got to go out and do it.
It's total role reversal, I feel like, this year to last year, right? I mean, the defensive line came in with all the accolades, and these guys were going to be All-Americans. Look how many years that they've been here for. And you didn't really know what to think about the Ohio State offensive line, and there was a lot of pressure with them too, Pat. I mean, going into that Penn State game, it's like, man, you can't even run the ball. And that's why those last 6 minutes and 40 whatever seconds to hold on to the ball was such a big deal, doing it there, doing it at Happy Valley. But the roles have kind of reversed now, with the offensive line being a veteran group and the defensive line, for the most part, being not unknown, but not having the experience that they've had in years past.
For sure. And, look, they still have to go out and do it, right? We have to see Ethan Onyeonwa play at this level. We haven't seen that at left tackle. Luke Montgomery was really good in the playoffs, so we expect him to pick that up. I think there's no doubt about Carson Hinsman now. Tegre Shabola obviously started pretty much all of last year, and then that right tackle spot is the one for me. I think we all think it'll be Austin Sareveld.
He was getting reps there a lot in spring ball.
Yeah, that's the way it ended. He was the first team. Can Phillip Daniels level up his game? I know he started some at Minnesota, but that was largely due to injury at the end of last year. Can he be a guy who pushes Austin at the very least? Ian Moore was a guy, when we walked into the first spring practice, was with the first team offensive line at tackle. Where does he fit into that equation? So to your point, there is depth. I mean, if we went each position, there's at least another guy that we feel comfortable with, and that wasn't the case a year ago.
Now those guys were thrust into those situations, and they succeeded at a very high level.
Absolutely, and the way they rotated at guard, like now you got all three of those guys' experience. If you needed to, for some reason, you could move Carson Hinsman to guard. We've already seen that. They're very confident in Josh Padilla stepping in at center. So, yeah, I feel good about this offensive line. Like, if you're asking me to rank my concerns on the offensive line, or on the offensive side of the ball, I think offensive line and tight end, probably, as we talked about earlier, are probably at the bottom of that list.
Yeah, I think those are two very stacked rooms. When it comes to position battles, though, Pat, whether it's for starting position or whether it's to be a primary backup, to you, most intriguing outside of the quarterbacks? We'll get to the quarterbacks at the end of the segment. Outside of the quarterbacks, because I know we all have our eyes on that.
Yeah, I think we just talked about the right tackle. Like, is it Austin Sareveld? Can Phillip Daniels work his way in there? Is there someone else? You know, Ryan Day said Austin Sereveld's going to start on this offensive line. He didn't say where, but the right tackle seems the most obvious.
Iron Buckeye, multiple dude of the week. Like, it seems that he's going to be a guy this year.
Yes. So, like, that, assuming Luke Montgomery and Tegre Shabola hold on to their spots, which I think they will, that makes sense for Austin Sareveld. But how much can he be pushed by those guys behind him that we just mentioned? And then that slot receiver role. I know everyone is assuming, and probably rightfully so, that Brandon Inniss is going to be the guy there. He has waited his turn, probably thought he was going to start last year, and then Emeka Egbuka makes his decision to come back.
Yeah, a couple of big moments last year out of Brandon Inniss.
Absolutely. But they like Bryson Rodgers as well. And he started the spring game. I don't know if you want to read into that too much. I don't think you need to. But that's a guy who I think can factor in there. Brian Hartline has the ability this year if he wants to, because those guys can also play the other positions. They always train that. Brian Hartline has the ability if he wants to rotate a little bit and not just have the three guys out there all the time.
Was it Garrett Wilson's sophomore year that they put him at slot receiver, and that was just very unfair?
I think it was his last year.
Year. That was not a fair situation for opposing defense.
And Bryson Rodgers is a guy who's built very similarly. Like, Brandon Inniss is more Emeka Egbuka, not as tall, thick,
fast, great hands.
Yes, and I think Bryson Rodgers, not to put the pressure on him of being Garrett Wilson, because that's a lot to ask, but
How dare you?
Right, you've got different body types, different type of players that you can use in that slot, and that's not to mention, we're talking receivers, Quincy Porter, Mylan Graham. Those guys could also, if you want to rotate. I don't know how much you want to take Carnell Tate and Jeremiah Smith out of games, but if you want to,
depending on the situation.
Yeah, I think you have options there to do that. So I don't know if that's necessary. Those other positions are necessarily battles, but can these other guys factor in more than just, hey, we're coming in late in games?
All right, let's get to the quarterback situation.
Yeah.
Ryan Day, obviously, all the way through spring, has said that it's a tight race. And I know that we've talked about this before in the past. Pat, that was a tongue twister. That, the first 4 days that you guys got to see when you were out at spring ball, it edged Lincoln Kienholz. But then we all saw the spring game and saw Julian Sayin outperform Lincoln Kienholz. If you were to handicap this as we get into fall camp coming up here in a few weeks over at the Woody, I think all of these reps are going to be important, let alone these guys are inexperienced. You've only seen 3 quarters from Lincoln Kienholz in the Cotton Bowl. Julian Sayin was the primary backup last year when Will Howard was out of the football game. But I'm just wondering, how do you get an edge? How do you get an edge? Are you going to look at that offense from Brian Hartline and say, well, we want more of an athletic quarterback? Because if that's the case, then it's going to edge Lincoln Kienholz. If it's not the case and you're going to go more prototypical, guy stand in the pocket, not to say that Julian Sayin can't make some throws off pattern or
off schedule.
Like, he can do that. He's got a live arm. But I'm just almost wondering right now, the biggest question, what's going to be the biggest identifiable difference with these two guys, and ultimately who's the starting quarterback?
I think it comes down to consistency.
Yeah.
And I think Lincoln Kienholz was more consistent during spring practice, as you just detailed. But when you saw Julian Sayin get it all right, it was as good as you're going to find. And that's why this competition is still ongoing, is because there is such a high ceiling for Julian Sayin. Now, Lincoln Kienholz's ceiling is not super far off, right? But he is a more veteran guy. He's been in the offense longer, so he has some advantages there. I think if Julian Sayin carries over what he did in the spring game into fall camp and can do it day in and day out, then this competition is going to be over pretty quickly. And that's no slight on Lincoln Kienholz. That's just Julian Sayin, 5-star prospect. This is a guy who should be in the discussion with some of the best quarterbacks that Ohio State has had, given his potential. But he's got to live up to that.
Yeah, you absolutely have to live up to it. And we know that the standard is the standards. I feel like I've said that 1,000 times here this week. But I think it's going to be neck and neck. I don't know if we get to Texas week without a starter named, but usually when Ryan Day says that we have a quarterback competition ongoing, it takes a long time for that starter to be named. So those first 3 weeks of camp, Pat, right before you get into Texas, are going to be pretty fiery from the quarterback spot.
Yeah, I would have to go back and look at when the decision has been made each time there's been a quarterback competition under Ryan Day. But I would guess right about that 2-week, unless one guy just comes out on fire and can carry it over for multiple practices. I think 2 weeks is right about that sweet spot, if I had to guess, where he has normally come up with a guy. Now, he's not going to just name a guy because it's 2 weeks out from the game, right?
If it has to go down to Virginia Tech in 2015,
let's hope that doesn't happen.
JT and Cardale, and we don't even find out before Urban slaps JT on the shoulder or Cardale on the shoulder and says, "Yeah, you're in. You're our starter." Like I hope that doesn't happen.
No, not with Texas week 1. You could do that with last year's schedule. Flip it. Last year, if you don't have Will Howard, you've got these two guys.
Well, we saw it with Kyle McCord and Devin Brown just a couple of years ago.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't think it's going to be. I think Julian will start to pull away eventually. And again, this is no slight on Lincoln. I just think Julian's that good. But I also think there's some potential. You're talking about Lincoln's athleticism. Mm-hmm. Could you have packages for him? Remember, we are in the transfer portal era, and you only have 3 scholarship quarterbacks, so to speak, on your roster. So, I think Lincoln has acknowledged the fact that there is that transfer portal out there. I talked to him. I know other people did too at various points throughout the college football playoff run, and he's not hiding from the fact that, like, if he doesn't win the job, he may have to look elsewhere. Now, could he handle it? I think he will handle it similar to Devin Brown, if that is the case, where, hey, I'm going to go through the season, I'll be the backup. He's got 2 more years to play, so he's got time. But, I would guess right around that 2-week out from the first game is the ideal situation. Again, it's got to play out, though.
I just hope it's not 12:15 on Saturday, August 30th.
Yeah, I don't think Ryan would go into that unless it is really just that close. Having been a quarterback himself, I think he knows how important it is to have, at least
you want to get those reps the week of.
Yeah,
right?
You need to know your guy. And that's not just for the quarterback, that's for the whole offense, right? Because they're different. Mm-hmm. And, it's something that the receivers need to know, okay, this is how it's coming out of his hand, this is this. The offensive line needs, if it's Lincoln, you're blocking differently.
Totally.
Because he's moving, right? So there's a lot that goes into it, and I think it makes sense to have some time if you can.
Since we just did offensive position battles, we're going to take a look at the defensive position battles going on with the Silver Bullets coming up in 2 minutes. It's the Buckeye Show on the Fan.
This summertime, it's Modelo time. Whether you're poolside or curbside, kick it with an ice cold Modelo. Time to fire up the grill and turn up. Time to reach for a crisp Modelo or the refreshing lime and salt flavors of Modelo Chelada. Time to raise one to summer, and time to stock up on Modelo before summer is gone. Drink responsibly. Beer and flavored beer imported by Crown Imports, Chicago, Illinois.
Cool cars, cool people, good time. It's the biggest and best hot rodding event of the year. The Buckeyes 27th Summit Racing Nationals presented by PPG. All this weekend at the Ohio Expo Center in Columbus. Over 6,000 classics from across the USA. Shop the swap meet at Huge Vendor Midway. See which rides take home the crown of the 2025 Classic Instrument Street Rods and PPG Street Machine of the Year. All this weekend at the Ohio Expo Center. Details at good-guys.com.
Things are popping at Al's Delicious Popcorn. With over 80 flavors to choose from, we have something for everyone. From classics like caramel cashew, white cheddar, and our famous vanilla butternut to new flavors like chicken and waffles and spicy barbecue. They are all made fresh and they are all delicious. Visit us online at alspopcorn.com or come see us and experience the best service in town at 1500 Bethel Road in Columbus. Al's Delicious Popcorn.
Experience the ultimate gridiron experience at the Ohio State Football Training Camp, presented by Safe Flight, Bob's Discount Furniture, and Weber, happening at the Woody Hayes Athletic Center July 31st through August 2nd. Don't miss your chance to get the first look at your Ohio State football team. Bring your friends and family and dive into the excitement with inflatables, giveaways, and more. Tickets are limited, so get yours today to ensure you don't miss out on the fun. Visit universe.com/OSU Training Camp 2025 to purchase your tickets today.
The Buckeye Show is sponsored by CareSource, proud to be your home for Ohio State athletics. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Are we drinking the scarlet and gray Kool-Aid? You bet we are. You're listening to the Buckeye Show.
We're also drinking Coors Lights out at Yogi's in Grandview. I mean, Patrick and I aren't, because we're legally not obligated to do so for 30 more minutes. But once that clock hits 8 o'clock, this bucket in front of me is going to be gone.
Yeah, I was watching our friend Joe, who you mentioned was here earlier. I think he had a couple there, and they just looked so tasty. The bottles are one thing, yeah, but you actually see the beer in the glass.
I know.
And, yeah.
You more of a draft guy or a bottle or can guy?
You know me. I'm not picky.
I know.
I guess I would probably prefer draft, but, like, it's close.
Yeah, I'm a draft guy. I'll take a draft, but I will take a few of these bottles for
why
sure.
Not?
Hopefully everybody's having a good time out there. By the way, we here on the Buckeye Show brought to you by our great friends over at Coors Light. Come hang out with us at Yogi's and enjoy some of these. So we just did offensive position battles as we get into camp. Now, if you want to talk about like a lot more position battles offensively, then there's no further place to look than defensively. All the starters who left, all the guys who have been here for 4 or 5 years, maybe not necessarily the depth of starting jobs that are open, Patrick, but there are a lot of number 2 spots open on this defense.
100%. You're replacing, 8 starters from this defense?
I mean, the only 3 that are back are IGB, Caleb, and Sonny. That's it. Those are the 3.
And, Jermaine Matthews played quite a bit, but not a full-time starter, and really it was only the second half of the year that he really started to rotate in. So you've got a lot of competition going on right now. And look, I think it's Ohio State, right? Just because, we believe, guy like Caleb, guy like Sonny.
I believe that we will win.
I believe. Let's hope for that on Saturday.
I don't even like that chant though. It's a bad
it's
chant.
A silly chant.
Yeah.
But the 3 returning starters rightfully assume that those are going to be your opening day starters. But you've got so much talent at cornerback. If Igbinosun doesn't have a good fall camp, not to say that he wouldn't start against Texas, but you can have a quick trigger there if you want. You remember a few years ago against Notre Dame when they pulled the safeties.
Yeah.
And, it could happen. But I think the biggest thing for me on defensive side is that safety position next to Caleb Downs. That's a battle that I don't know if there's even a favorite right now between Malik Hartford and Jalen McClain.
And Lathan was so good in his last year.
Absolutely.
He was world class.
Yeah, it is going. Whoever steps out there, it's going to be hard to replace what Lathan did. And neither of those guys are like a like for like replacement.
Yeah.
But they do bring their own things. Malik Hartford, big hitter. We saw it a little bit his freshman year. Didn't play as much last year. Part of that was because an injury during spring practice took him out for all those. But also Jalen McClain was a freshman they really liked. Started against Nebraska when Lathan Ransom was out. So you've got two good options there. They're different. Which one can step up? Or is the answer that both guys can play, which I think may be what they do, and you use them in certain, they call it packages, things like that.
Yeah, situation, down and distance, things change, right?
Right, and Matt Guerreri talked about in the spring, 11 guys are on the field at a time, but that doesn't necessarily mean you have 11 starters, so to speak. Yes, they will start the game, but like we've talked about other positions, receiver, defensive line, things like that, you can certainly mix and match your safeties. We even saw it a little bit last year with the way they used Jordan Hancock dropping deeper at times.
Yeah, we did. As far as the linebackers are concerned, I think you and I are both pretty sold on the fact that it's going to be Sonny and Arvell Reese, and I'm excited to see what Arvell can do. Everyone who I've talked to have seen him in person. Every time you see him, he grows, and he's just a monster. I don't know if he's from the same solar system or galaxy that Jeremiah Smith is from, but it's
he's
getting
from
close.
Glenville.
Yes, he is. Yeah, that's right. He's a tar blooder. So you and I are, very much expecting, I think, alongside most Buckeye Nation is that it's going to be Sonny and him starting. But when you look at the depth of the linebacker room, Pat, where are you looking at? Is it a Peyton Pierce or someone else?
Yeah, Peyton Pierce for me is a guy. When you hear James Laurinaitis sort of off the cuff rave about a guy, I think that's the guy you need to pay attention to. And I know there's been talk, could they play more three linebackers because they have that? I just don't think against most offenses you're going to face that makes a ton of sense. But we even saw it with Arvell last year. Now, some of that was injuries, but he came in certain packages, things like that. I think Peyton Pierce has the potential to do the same. And if for some reason you do need somebody to step in, I think he can do what they need at linebacker.
I'm just so excited to see Sonny and Arvell together on the field. I know that we saw him sometimes a little bit last year. Just going back to kind of the Nebraska game and the targeting penalty that lit Ohio Stadium on fire, which I think may have been a main proponent and reason why they won that football game. Is because you got the crowd to turn for you in that call, and it was getting a little bit shaky. But full season of those two guys, watch out. That's as good of a backer core you're going to find.
Absolutely, and then the defensive line. We've touched on it already. I think we know the four starters, or at least the two starters in the interior. I think there could be some debate now that you've added Bo Atkinson.
Yeah.
Does he work his way into a starting role? Logan George, I thought, looked good in spring practice. Can he up his game to be ready to go against a Texas and the Big Ten schedule you're going to face? That's still a question.
It's a good depth piece.
Absolutely, and he will definitely be a part of that rotation. But then who wins the jobs as the secondary guys on the interior of that defensive line? We mentioned some of the names earlier with Jason Moore, a Will Smith Jr.,
Jarquez
Carter, Tywan Malone Jr. And Tywan Malone Jr., I think, is the guy who you probably need to step up. He's a guy who's played in the SEC. Yeah. Now, remember, he was playing baseball.
Played football and baseball at Ole Miss, right?
And we've heard that, full-time football, it's going to start to click. Well, now you need it to click. We were saying that earlier.
It's got to happen.
And he has all of the ability to be that guy. I think Jason Moore, too. Will Smith Jr., obviously, quite the pedigree, given his father, RIP. But, he's a little bit younger. Is it his time? We'll see if he's the guy. Put him out there. Larry Johnson said some good things about him in the spring. But, as you said, those guys are going to have to play. Can they step up? Can multiple? Is it one guy? How many do you feel comfortable putting in a game when the game's on the line?
Yeah, because they're going to rotate. That's the thing.
Yes, yeah. And look, last year they played a lot of Tyleik Williams and Ty Hamilton. But those were guys who had...
those guys were also monsters.
And they played a year before. Yeah. You have two new starters coming in, guys who did play some last year, but didn't play a ton if you look at the snap counts. So, that is certainly a question. I think I'm very confident in the starters. I like what you have with Caden McDonald and Edric Houston.
I watched a video of K-Mac the other day. I don't know what it is. Like, he's that big. You shouldn't be able to move that fast. Like, your legs should not physically be able to move that fast, at which Cade McDonald's does.
Well, and that's kind of the guy that Ohio State has lacked, so to speak. They've found other ways to sort of plug that position.
The big one, right?
Yes.
Like, just the big, nose tackle, if you want to say one whole, 3 technique. He's not a 3.
No.
He will shade. Yeah, he'll more shade inside, be a nose, be a 1. But, yeah, you're right. I mean, they have lacked that for better terms. Now you have players who can play it, and Tyleek and Ty did a very good job, different sets and different schemes for what they did. But he's your guy. He's the plug. He's the hole guy.
When you mentioned earlier about the second half of last season, when you started to see them do some more things, blitzes and whatnot, to sort of help the defensive line get going. Okay, how do you do that this year? What does that look like with all these new pieces we're talking about out there? I think Arvell Reese is interesting. C.J. Hicks, a guy we didn't mention.
Yes, of course, C.J. coming down from the backer position. A la Sonny Styles coming from the safety position into the backer. C.J. Hicks going from the backer position down to the edge.
And what makes this interesting is I think this is where C.J.'s kind of wanted to be most of his Ohio State career.
I'm a roamer, coach. Just put me in the game.
Exactly. And where does he fit into that mix? Is he going to be exclusively a defensive end, rushing off the edge? Can he move back and help do some things at linebacker?
I think, of course, he can. He's been in that room.
Right. So, an interesting guy. In his 4th year, hasn't played a ton. When he has played, it hasn't always looked great. This is a big year for him, whether it be in a rotation role or can he make it even bigger than that?
I don't know if it's a fair comparison, but I remember Baron Browning's last year here at Ohio State. Like, Baron would always play linebacker, and then sometimes they would decide to step him up on the edge.
Yeah, they should have done that way more.
And we always called him, like, the break up the play guy, because whenever Baron would get down into a stance or would be on the edge, like, he would come into the backfield and he would just blow it up. Like, in my mind, that's what I'm envisioning C.J. Hicks being. I don't know if that's a fair comparison because Baron Browning is Baron Browning, and he's very good at football. But in my mind, that's kind of what I have envisioned for CJ.
Yeah, stylistically, I think it's a fair comparison. Yeah. And I think if you asked the Ohio State defensive coaching staff now, especially looking at what Baron Browning's done in the NFL, that was a mistake to not do that.
He's pretty good.
And so now you have a chance with C.J. Hicks to sort of not rectify what happened with Baron Browning, but not make the same mistake. Get a guy in there that can make a difference for you, and he certainly can.
We are hanging out at Yogi's in Grandview. $3 Coors Light specials here until 8 o'clock. I mean, they're still open past 8 o'clock, so don't go anywhere. I know Pat and I are going to be hanging out. We'll do hashtag Buckeyes coming at you next. It's the Buckeye Show on The Fan.
Tweet from a listener. Are you carrying the Buckeye game today? Considering we've never not carried one, yes. The answer is yes. The Fan.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you're planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Boating season is finally here, and Buckeye Lake Marina is your go-to destination for all your on-the-water needs. With the largest inventory in Central Ohio, you can choose from top brands like Bennington, South Bay, Crown Line, and more. Buckeye Lake Marina has it all. Pontoon boats, luxury tri-toon boats, even merch. Open 7 days a week to serve you better. Find your next dream boat at Buckeye Lake Marina. Visit BuckeyeLakeMarina.com today for all your on-the-water needs. The good life, the lake life, starts at Buckeye Lake Marina.
They're trained. They're prepared. Let's do it. They're Ohio's undefeated plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling team. And they're here to tackle your problems. For plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling, there's only one team. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call the Waterworks at 614-232-2222 or visit them online at thewaterworks.com. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
For over 30 years, Schumacher Homes has been building affordable custom homes throughout the Buckeye State. Experience true customization on your land, your way, without any compromises. Come visit any of our 9 Ohio model home and design studio locations to see the latest in design trends and learn about our award-winning building process, or start online at SchumacherHomes.com. You'll be surprised how affordable a custom home will be. Schumacher Homes, proud home building sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Go behind the scenes of one of the most recognizable landmarks in all of college athletics with a tour of Ohio Stadium presented by Experience Columbus. A seasoned redcoat will be your guide as you make your way through walls of the stadium, into the press box, and onto the field. Upgrade to the VIP package and get special access to the band center and the Ohio State home locker room. From corporate outings and school groups to single-person tours and small families, Ohio Stadium Tours offer a variety of options and pricing. For more information, visit ohiostatebuckeyes.com and book your tour. Ohio Stadium Tours, presented by Experience Columbus.
When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger for mouth-watering meals and appetizing ingredients. And no matter what tasty choice you make, our low prices add up to big savings. Plus, you get over $600 in digital coupons each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump and points. At Kroger, you always get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Rothman and Ice.
It's more evidence that you need to subscribe to the rule Bobby and I subscribe to.
What's that?
If you can't get a yard, you don't deserve to win.
Rothman and Ice. Weekdays at noon.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus.
The Fan.
When you walk up and down the stairs, do you feel a crunch in your knees? Or when you lift your arms above your head, you hear a click in your shoulders? Have you tried steroid shots and now they're suggested surgery? Before you go under the knife, you should hear me out. Hey, it's Tyvis Powell, and I want to tell you about something that helped a lot of people get their lives back without getting more meds and without having to have surgery. It's QC Kinetics, leaders in regenerative medicine, using the treatments like advanced cellular therapy and platelet-rich plasma, all designed to actually help your body heal itself. Their cellular treatment contains growth factors and healing properties to maximize your own body's ability to heal itself. 92% of patients report satisfaction with their results. Learn more about something that could be life-changing. A licensed medical provider will go over your x-rays or MRI and see if you're a good fit for these breakthrough treatments. Find out if you're a good candidate. The consultation is free. Go to qckinetics.com/Columbus or call 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Social media can be a cesspool. Allow us to navigate the waters. #Buckeyes.
Sponsored by The Waterworks. Call the plumbing, heating, and cooling technicians at The Waterworks and header today. Call 614-232-2222. Proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Hanging out with my guy Patrick Murphy over at Yogi's in Grandview. $3 Coors Light specials. What a night. Again, I think we should just do the show here every night.
I agree. Also, it's amazing to me how quickly 2 hours goes when we're doing this. So if you're driving in the car or something, 2 hours feels forever, even if you're listening to us on the radio.
Yeah, it
but
probably
actually
feels
sitting
like
here
4
talking,
if you're listening to us.
Yeah, other than the food and the beer and my desire for both of those, these shows, even in the studio, fly by.
So I joke around all the time. I say it to you. I say it to Austin. We get done with our first segment.
Yes.
And what do I say? What do I say?
Show's over.
Show's over. It's done.
It flies.
Because literally like snapping fingers, it's done.
Yeah. Yeah, I've done now a few of the Saturday shows that are 3 hours.
Yeah, it's a little bit different.
It's a little
from
different.
2 to 3.
Yeah.
And the difference between the Saturday show compared to this show that you're doing is you get to do everything. So you get to do all the sports that are going on. This one is specifically Buckeye-centric.
Get to and have to. Some of it depends on the sport, right? You know me. Like I think I know most sports. But like a couple weeks ago, we did after the NHL draft. I had to do some research to talk with any knowledge on that topic.
Yeah, but you're good.
It was fine. We did it fine.
You watch sports, you know what's going on.
Yeah.
And 2, you're doing a show with Dylan.
Yeah, it was great.
Dylan does Blue Jackets radio. Just lean on him.
It made it very easy.
Did you work with last week, Cole?
Yes.
Oh yeah, he's great too.
Yeah. Both have been great. They both carried me through it. So.
Yeah, you'll be good.
Yeah, just like you carried me through this.
No, I didn't. You actually carried me through it.
I don't know.
We've had a great time tonight. Thanks for everybody for coming out. If you did come out to Yogi's. By the way, we're going to be here most Thursdays now. So next Thursday, if you didn't get a chance to come out tonight, don't worry, because many Thursdays in the future we will be out here doing this along with the $3 Coors deal. So very excited about that. Pat, before we get out of here today, I was reading an article done by your comrade, Dave Biddle of Bucknuts, and he was saying that Ohio State junior wide receiver Carnell Tate is mentioned as one of the sleepers in college football's 2025 season. He's among the projected top 25 teams in the country. This is a story from ESPN. I don't know if I would use the term sleeper with Carnell Tate, because I think if you watch Ohio State football and if you are a Buckeye fan, you're obviously very aware of Carnell Tate. Now, if you want to make the difference, like sleeper compared to the season statistically that he's had here in Columbus to what his expectations are, I think Carnell Tate's going to be a huge cog in this machine if it's going to be successful this year for the Buckeyes.
Absolutely. I think from a national perspective, a sleeper is a potentially decent way to describe him, because I don't think if you are Texas Tech fan, for instance.
Yeah.
Pick your school that is outside of the Big Ten.
Iowa State.
Yeah, you may not be aware much of Carnell Tate.
You should be.
If you watch the Texas game, you probably got to know him a little bit. Obviously, he played well against Nebraska, played well in that homecoming game against Northwestern, but he's not the household name that Emeka was last year, that Jeremiah became. So,
Marvin the year before that.
Yeah, I think if you are talking about Ohio State wide receivers from a national level, it's Jeremiah Smith and probably not much else. And I think, frankly, that should be motivational for these guys to go out and, hey, let's become those household names.
I'm envisioning in your world where you said Texas Tech, right? Like, if I'm a Texas Tech fan, I'm obviously watching Ohio State and Texas just to see what Texas is doing.
Right.
It's a good game. It's on at noon. I'm probably not playing at noon that day. And just watching Carnell Tate catch 6 or 7 passes, be like, who the hell is this guy?
Yeah.
Like, you're right. Like, if you're a college football fan, if you're a neutral, right? If you're just out there hanging out, just watching, and you don't really have, outside of your own program, a team that you lock in on. Like, you know who Jeremiah Smith is, even if you're around the game, even if you just play the video game. But, yeah, come Saturday, you're watching the Buckeyes play. I guess you're right. That could potentially be a sleeper.
Well, and I think we are so close to it, doing what we do, people who listen to the station regularly, follow closely.
Yeah.
Like, you're so close to it. You're like, how would you not know Carnell Tate? But then if you take the step back and think about it from, talking about a program, do you know who Texas Tech's top receiver is?
No.
Maybe that's not a great example because they're not the defending national champions.
Right.
But could you name Notre Dame's receiving depth chart going into this season?
Lorenzo Styles.
No, he's on Ohio
Okay,
State.
yeah, he is.
By the way, Texas Tech plays at 7:30 p.m.
Oh, so they'll be watching.
Yeah, so they should. They're playing Arkansas Pine Bluff. So if you should flip those two games, that would actually be great for the kickoff.
Yeah, you
times.
guys play at noon. We'll take the 7:30 spot.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me, but I don't do these things. I think there's a lot of guys, frankly, that you could argue by the end of this season. We were talking about Arvell Reese, right? That's another one that pops into my mind.
The hype train has left the station for me on Arvell Reese.
Yeah, but that's here.
Yeah, you're right.
Nationally, does it? If you're talking to somebody,
it's more sunny.
Yeah, and I think even if you talk to people plugged into college, national college football writers, radio people, like they might be aware of Arvell Reese and that he's going to play this year or going to start this year, played a little bit last year. But like the potential of that kid, I'm not sure people realize that. And sometimes we have to remember just where we are and how plugged in we are to the program.
We are doing a show at a bar in Columbus at Yogi's in Grandview, and it is called the Buckeye Show.
Yes.
On your home of the Buckeyes.
We better know who Carnell Tate is.
Yes, we do. We are very aware of who Carnell Tate is, and I guess he, as a sleeper, if you're going to pick one, I would take him as a sleeper.
Yeah, and look, another one. If you were to ask a casual college football fan, like, who are the two guys competing for Ohio State's quarterback job? I bet people could name Julian Sayin.
Yeah.
I don't know if they know Lincoln Kienholz.
You're right.
And
I think because every article that I've read from like a national perspective, Pat, and I'm sure that you're the same way, always says like starting quarterback Julian Sayin. Starting quarterback Julian Sayin. I'm like, that's not the case.
Yeah, or at least expected starting quarterback, and then they just don't name anyone else in the competition. That was always when I was going through college. I would watch College Football Live every day.
Great show.
Like starting halfway through the summer, just to get a feel of who are some of these other competitions, be it quarterback or whatnot, that we need to know about as we head into the season. And I don't know if everyone does that. Obviously, that led me into a career writing about sports. But I think that it's interesting when we get so close to it. And I remind people of this on our message board sometimes. They get angry about stuff that gets written. It's like, look, they'll find out. Don't worry. Everyone's going to find out.
Yes, we will find out. We'll find out August 30th, and we'll find out more answers when we get to camp. Before we get out of here today, our fan poll at 971thefan.com or on X at 971thefan. If it were guaranteed that Ohio State was going to finish this upcoming regular season with a record of 11-1, which game do you think the Buckeyes would most likely have the one loss in? Texas, Penn State, at Michigan, or other?
Which game do I think it will be? Or
If they were guaranteed to be 11-1,
okay,
which loss out of those three or other would you expect it to be?
Yeah, I'd probably go Texas. I think that's the leader.
69%. Nice.
Yeah, nice. But like if I were to pick it, I would also go Texas because I think you lose that game. Yes, it's at home. It would be very disappointing, your first game after a national championship, but you have the whole season to make up for that, right? And it's not a bad loss. You're losing against another top team.
If we think Texas is what Texas is.
Yeah, but even, I mean, you hear the committee talk about it, like you're going to get respect against Texas. Even if they have, 3 losses by the end of the season, it's still Texas, right? Yeah. So you can recover from that. Like the Virginia Tech game in 2014.
It's a shining example.
Yeah, like losing the Michigan game, you're still probably...
Bear front defense, I'll never forget it.
Losing Michigan, you're still probably in the playoff because you're 11-1, and maybe you're in the Big Ten championship game, though we know how that goes. But that would be the one. We talked about Penn State earlier.
Yeah.
I don't think you want to start Penn State's ascent to a national championship.
No,
by
I'm
finally
not picking
losing
Penn State. I'm not picking Michigan. So I guess it'd either be other or it would be Texas. Patrick, I had so much fun with you tonight. What do you say we do it again tomorrow evening? We're actually back in studio unless Taylor just welcomes us back out.
Yeah, I love the studio, but that is a little disappointing.
Everybody have an awesome night. Thanks to everybody for coming out to Yogi's in Grandview. We're back here next Thursday. If you missed us tonight, ESPN Radio will carry you through the evening. Patrick and I are back live tomorrow evening at 6. We will talk to you then. It's the Buckeye Show on The Fan.
Experience the ultimate gridiron experience at the Ohio State Football Training Camp, presented by Safe Flight, Bob's Discount Furniture, and Weber, happening at the Woody Hayes Athletic Center July 31st through August 2nd. Don't miss your chance to get the first look at your Ohio State football team. Bring your friends and family and dive into the excitement with inflatables, giveaways, and more. Tickets are limited, so get yours today to ensure you don't miss out on the fun. Visit universe.com/OSU Training Camp 2025 to purchase your tickets today.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix that's guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with lower prices on over 1,000 items. Hand it to Kroger shoppers. You never compromise. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
Save big on 6 packs of Coca-Cola, Pepsi, or 7-Up. Right now, select varieties are only $2.99 each with your digital coupon. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
Experience the ultimate gridiron experience at the Ohio State Football Training Camp, presented by Safe Flight, Bob's Discount Furniture, and Weber, happening at the Woody Hayes Athletic Center July 31st through August 2nd. Don't miss your chance to get the first look at your Ohio State football team. Bring your friends and family and dive into the excitement with inflatables, giveaways, and more. Tickets are limited, so get yours today to ensure you don't miss out on the fun. Visit universe.com/OSU Training Camp 2025 to purchase your tickets today.
The future of recycling is now at Rumpke Waste and Recycling. The recycling leader has opened North America's largest, most technologically advanced recycling center right here in Central Ohio. This one-of-a-kind facility features interactive displays, educational opportunities, and the ability to process over 60 tons of recycled material per hour. Rumpke is committed to recycling and sustainability efforts, and for more than 90 years, Rumpke has worked to make sure the items you place in your recycling bin get used again. Visit Rumpke.com to learn how you can team with Rumpke to put less trash in our landfills and more of it to good use.
Hey, Ohio State fan, are you ready for game day? Get hyped and get your crew going with the Buckeye meal at BK. For $20, you'll get 1 juicy flame grilled Whopper sandwich, 1 original chicken sandwich, 2 mouthwatering cheeseburgers, 3 crispy golden small fries, and 3 refreshing small drinks. Grab your $20 Buckeye meal today and share the taste of victory. At BK, have it your way. You rule. Limited time only at participating Ohio area restaurants. Tax extra. BK is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Experience Buckeye game day like never before. Welcome to the 1922 Club, the most exclusive space inside Ohio Stadium, where luxury meets tradition in the heart of Buckeye Nation. Enjoy upscale food and beverages and a game day atmosphere like no other. Create lasting memories with friends and mingling with other Buckeye fans, and celebrate every OHIO in ultimate comfort. Become a member of the 1922 Club today. Memberships are limited. Visit OhioStateBuckeyes.com.